Ah, yes. Welcome, esteemed visitors. I was prepared for your arrival. I am under very specific order from the lords and ladies of the castle to give you a record to date of their current investigation. Just one moment, I have that right here. Last time, the investigators of the new society got a message from Linnea Elfenclint, their contact who gifted them Castle Gillenkreutz. Though she is now a patient at Uppsala Asylum, Linnea received a request from a former contact, Preben Rasmussen, for the society to help stop demonic activity on Grymsted Lyng, which is frightening the local moorland society. Rasmussen suspects the trouble is a devil identified long ago by a priest and talented folklorist, Gabriel Sandeman. After some research and preparation, the investigators set out on a long and uncomfortable trip to Grymsted Lyng, arriving in the evening at Grimstead Tavern. Upon arrival, they noticed a large raven with glowing green eyes observing them. Inside the tavern, they conversed with the colorful locals, learned of a creature called a myling, and heard the Moorland Society had recently uncovered the bones of a child. The next morning, Jens Ludvigsen, the science secretary of the Moorland Society, led the investigators to the main camp. Before they had a chance to take a look around, a strange fog with specks of glowing green lights encircled the camp. And this is where the story continues.
All right, good evening, fellow geeks, and welcome to the next episode of our Vaesen campaign. That was a short little recap of what happened last time, and we're probably not going to go much more into it other than that. But I can tell you, we are putting these up on YouTube. Every Friday is the goal. So if you guys do want a more detailed recap, you can always go back and watch the last session and catch these on video on demand on Fridays. So welcome. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Good to see everybody here. Once again, we are playing Vaesen by Free League. This is a campaign that we are running. This is kind of it's not really a homebrewed campaign because we're just mixing it full of a bunch of different pre-written adventures that we're combining into our own little story. The mystery that I am running tonight is from Seasons of Mystery, a beautiful book, also by Free League. Highly recommend this game. It's a blast. And let's get into the awesome players that we have for this campaign. Let's go ahead and this time let's go around. Let's introduce who you are as a person, and let's also talk a little bit about your character that you are playing. And we are going to go ahead. I believe we have our player names out of order here, but I'm sure we'll get that fixed shortly. But we're going to start with the real Bill.
Okay,
who's in
that's
the bottom
me.
right down there. Bill, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your character?
All right. Hi, I have to have a cough. Sorry. My name is Bill. I'm a podcaster. I make a show called Escape This Podcast. I make another show called Solve This Murder. Check them both out. They're full of fun stuff. If you want to hear puzzles and mysteries and murders and things like that. I am playing an older academic man, and that is my archetype. I am an academic called Johan Bostrom. Fun fact about Johan Bostrom. In his entire life, he has had 3 different filing methods for his bookshelves. As a young man, he just filed them alphabetically by order. As an accomplished academic, he developed his own filing system because he had such a widespread understanding of all of these topics that he had this very intricate system of what books related to what other books that made referencing one into the other the smoothest possible transition. It was incredibly detailed, incredibly complex. And now he has a new filing system. He tells people it's the same thing. It's a very academic, interesting thing, but only his servant knows. Only Matthew's character knows.
Great.
And actually, his new filing system is all the books he uses the most are in the center at chest height because his back has started to go and his shoulders aren't so nice at reaching up, and he doesn't ever want to have to get a book from a low shelf or a high shelf. So everything's just been ordered by use to the center of the bookshelf. But he doesn't want to let people know. Only Matthew's character knows.
Yes.
And that's Johan.
I love that. Great introduction. Thanks, Bill. And we're going to shake things up. Matt's character was mentioned, so let's go with Matt next. Why don't you tell us about you and about Robert?
Awesome. Hello, my name is Matt. You can find me everywhere as Improv and D&D, and I am playing Robert Wong. Of course, the servant of Mr. Johann Bostrom. Robert Wong started things off with a little, maybe some shady dealings, but he wanted to get out of that. He had since joined the servitude of Mr. Bostrom, and a fun fact about him is that he really enjoys tarot readings. Whenever he goes into a new city where there might be someone who can tell his fortune, he loves to attend one of these, generally tipping gratuitously before the reading happens, hoping to tip the scales a little bit for his future.
Fantastic. That is so cool. Lovely. Thank you, Matt. Glad to have you here. All right, let's go now to M. Why don't you tell us about yourself? Tell us about Katrina.
I'm M. Fun fact about me is I have a little cold, so very sorry that you have to listen to my stuffed up voice. But more interestingly, Katrina, who is a wonderful officer, retired now, still lives by the warrior code, has a penchant for romance novels. And she has one that she's kept with her through many, many fights and battles. And it's a little book that she keeps around as a memento, and it's well thumbed through because she's read it over and over again so many times. But yeah, she's never actually found romance herself.
Yet.
Oh, snap.
Excellent. Thank you. I'm glad to have you here. All right, last but certainly not least, Tori, why don't you tell us about you? Tell us about Constance.
Yeah, hi, I'm Tori. I am part of the Level 1 Geek team. That's about me. And then you can find me on Twitter for now, I guess, at Tori Vika if you want to. And then I play Constance Doyle, Detective Constance Doyle, but she prefers people to call her Constance. She likes being on pretty casual terms with people. And a fun fact about her, you guys all just got me thinking about books and stuff. Bill started it and then M continued it. So it just kind of popped into my head that I'm establishing this fact now that Constance is the type of person.
Doesn't know how to read.
It's miraculous that she's as good a detective as she is.
Yeah.
She is the type of person who dog ears pages.
Wow. That says a lot about Constance.
I think Johann, like, you can tell exactly when Constance has like been. There you go. Do you dog ear pages, Bill? Like,
no,
for real?
That has been dog-eared since 2006 when I read this book for school.
Okay.
Apparently I dog-eared it then and haven't undog-eared it.
Wow.
Well, Constance is a book ruiner. I mean, not like intentionally, but she'll dog-ear it. And so I think I wouldn't be surprised if Johann and Constance have gotten a little heated in the past when Constance has borrowed a book or looked through something in his collection and didn't take care of it and whatever. And Katrina, if you've ever borrowed like any kind of romance novel from Constance, it probably just has so many bent corners. So that's my fun fact about Constance.
You get all your romance novels back and there's writing in the margins like, real hot. Loved this.
Remember this for later.
That's
Try
hilarious.
this? Question mark.
Oh, fantastic. That is our awesome group of players. They are blast personality, cosplays, and all. Glad to have all of them here. I'm Chase. I'm playing the Game Master for this campaign. I'll give you guys a Chase fact. Somebody asked this near the end of last stream. They asked, what am I always looking at off screen? Nothing, absolutely nothing. I have something called dystonia, so I get eye twitches. I'll wink, I'll look off screen. Nothing sneaky, just my eyes going out of control. So there's your fun Chase fact of the evening. I also want to give a shout out to the person behind the scenes who just fixed our identity portrait crisis. Katie is always helping us with production in the background. She's part of our level 1 geek team. Appreciate her very much. She will also be managing all of your chat interactions this evening, which is a good segue into chat interactions. We have some of those for those of you who are viewing this live. As you guys can see, we have a few fun things here on the overlay. I'm going to go over them super quickly, and then we'll go ahead and we'll jump into our adventure for the night. We have these blessed and cursed numbers here, and if you're wondering what those are dice pools. You guys with your channel points can either add blessed dice to the pool, which our players can just add extra dice to their rolls, no penalty, just free extra dice. The cursed dice work similarly. They can also add them to their rolls, and they do benefit. But the catch with the cursed dice is that if they succeed the roll with cursed dice, I got to add a little something sneaky or sinister as a caveat to that success, up to my discretion.
Which we might see happen tonight, maybe, because I succeeded a curse roll last session. So
And
chat, you
I
might
have not
see that
forgotten.
come to fruition.
Yes, so you guys can go ahead and add those. Also, you might see little tally marks appear up in the corners by our players' portraits here. Those are sponsorships, and you guys can give those out. If you guys are a Patreon supporter, please shout it out. You guys can give somebody a sponsorship. Or if you guys gift subs or sub yourself, you can also give out sponsorships. And sponsorships, we're going to go over here in just a bit, but basically, when you give a sponsorship during the session, it is going to give some perks to the player at the beginning of the next session. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into that right now, actually. And we're going to start with, let's start with you, Bill, because I've got a list here and you're at the top of my list. Now, we're jumping back in time a little bit. You guys are currently surrounded by some crazy mist, but flashback. You guys had a very long trip on the way here, and you had plenty of time to prepare for this adventure. And even before you left for your travels, you guys, as part of this new society, have started making contacts. There's some people who maybe disagree with what you're doing, and there's also a handful of people who support what you're doing. And with your mysterious work also comes some mysterious supporters. Now, Bill, you have been in contact with two people. They're some shady figures. You don't ever get a good look at their face. They're always wearing long coats, and they go by clearly code names of the Wolf and the Wombat. Now, they have given you some assistance before your adventure or during your travels. So you can go ahead with your 2 sponsorships you had last time. You get an extra use of your memento this session. And
Lovely.
Also, you get an extra advantage. So why don't you tell us how the Wolf and the Wombat helped you with your advantage?
The Wolf and the Wombat, they are silly names. I don't understand these people. Just use your real names when you talk to me. I don't understand. But they are from the university in Copenhagen, and on the way in, they promised to give me information. They are closer to the moors than I am. Uppsala is very far from where we are, but Copenhagen is just nearby. So they agreed. We were communicating about a different issue. They were trying to get commentary on some paper I had written because they were doing it as part of their doctoral studies. I don't know. I don't really care what they're doing, but I looked into it for them. I gave them some feedback about my paper, and they wanted to help. And so I said, I seized the moment, as you must do when you are hunting Vaesen. So I reached out. I said, well, look, you are close to the moors. Give me some whatever you know about what is going on, anything about Grymsted Lyng. And they gave me a kind of poorly sourced set of notes and instructions, which hopefully, if we need to investigate anything, will give us some extra context that we may not have. Being from a more sophisticated country in a more sophisticated city, we do not know how to deal with bumpkins like people in Copenhagen do. And so I have an advantage to my investigation rolls. Would I have said that quicker? Yes, but you wouldn't have enjoyed it quite the same way.
Fantastic. I love it. So big thank you to the Wolf and the Wombat.
I thank the Wombat. I do not thank the Wolf. The Wolf, he does not deserve my thanks.
Fantastic. Thanks, Bill. All right, Matt. Now you have also had a pair of supporters along your way. You have
Great.
somebody who you've only heard from in letters. They leave letters of support, and they always just sign themselves as the Sinister Spy. Mm-hmm. And you also have been in contact with a professor at a nearby university named Professor Hexeter. Now, Professor Hexeter is a expert in many different topics. Quite a knowledgeable person. So why don't you
Great.
go ahead and
Ah.
give us how did they help you prepare for this session?
Excellent. So, when I get into contact with the sinister spy, it's always in terms of the news, the happenings, the goings on, just to make sure that I can be ready for whatever befalls me, whatever I encounter, whatever might be on the horizon. And in particular, in this case, when I contacted the spy, I needed a little bit more information, a little bit more in-depth research. And I knew that if I came to my Lord Bostrom with that, then it might intrude. And as a servant, I must never intrude. So I had my spy contact the professor, Professor Hexeter. This professor, of course, has been known for being accustomed to chaos, accustomed to both generating it and taking a bit of a liking towards that sort of information. And so, as far as this mission was concerned, Spy was able to collect details about being aware in the moors, in this area, so that I can stay vigilant no matter what. And so my advantage is going to be in vigilance, logic vigilance.
I love it. Fantastic. Thank you, Matt, and thank you, Hexeter and a Sinister Spy. All right, next up we have Katrina. Katrina, you have also had a wide variety of support. In fact, you've had slightly more support than the rest of your team. So you are going to get an extra use of your memento. You're also going to get an extra advantage. And at the end of the session, you'll get a bonus experience. Now, you had a couple of similar contacts to the others. You've also been in contact with this pen pal, the Sinister Spy. You have been in contact with the Wombat, not the Wolf.
What?
And a street thug that you've run across that's been some help named Chunky. So why don't you go ahead and why don't you go ahead and tell us about how you've gotten some assistance from these folk?
How I did what with these folk?
How did they help you prepare for this investigation?
Of course. So Katrina, having participated in many battles, has realized that information is power. So she intentionally has contacts with shady people spread out across the land in order to help her in times of crisis. And somebody, I believe it was, does it matter who gave what to me?
Nope.
Okay. A Sinister Spy sent me a tip to be on the lookout specifically for ravens. That has tied in that more raven activities going on. So I'm taking my advantage to an observation check to kind of keep an eye out on this weird doings. And for the experience from Chunky, they tipped me off onto a new novel that's actually coming out by the same author as my old novel. They finally released the second book, and she's so excited. She can't wait to get back home and read this new novel.
Is Chunky the Street Thug your romance novel, buddy?
Yes.
It fell off a truck, and I found it. Here you go.
It's a bootlegged copy, okay?
I wrote it.
It's not even released yet.
And I wrote it down.
Oh, fantastic. So good. Thank you, Em. Thank you, Chunky, Sinister Spy, Wombat. And Constance, last but not least for you, you got a couple of supporters. Common to the other folk, you also got assistance from the Wombat, not the Wolf, and from Professor Hexeter. So why don't you go ahead and tell us about how they've aided this investigation for you?
I don't know how I followed Chunky coming in clutch with the romance novel, but Constance received a package while on route, and it was just a simple envelope, larger envelope, with a quick note from Professor Hexeter, and they're both academics, as
The Wombat
established.
is kind of a
Wombat's-
mysterious figure. You're not sure what the Wombat is all about.
He's
Okay,
no
okay.
professor.
Then here's what it was. It's an envelope signed from the wombat, and it's just like an envelope with some bullets. I'm taking a bonus to my precision ranged combat. So it's just some bullets, no context, and then Constance, thinking that's a little odd, later receives a letter from Professor Hexeter. Basically,
Have you seen my bullets? I've misplaced some bullets.
I think I'm setting up canon now that Professor Hexeter has some contact with Wombat, because Professor Hexeter sends a letter explaining that Constance should have received a package in the mail, and he was able to talk to the Wombat to get some extra supplies sent my way, because he suspected we might need it based on his correspondence with let's see, he helped Robert?
No,
he helped
Hexeter did. No, Hexeter did.
The Professor Hexeter, yes.
Yeah. So he helped Robert, and anyway, I didn't do a fun voice, but Bill filled in for me.
Okay. Bill had you covered. Fantastic. Yeah, those were great. Thank you, players. And to all of our supporters, to anybody who supports us in any way, shape, or form. Thank you so much. If you guys want little shout outs like we just did here for the next episode, you can do so by subscribing or being a Patreon supporter. So if you do either of those things, make sure you call out to Katie with production and let her know. And we'll get you some of those tally mark sponsorships, and you can be shouted out next session. All right.
Mocked for your name.
Now, I believe that's all of the warm and fuzzy stuff getting started. I think we're ready to jump back into the adventure. So, as we mentioned with our recap, last time we left off, you guys have just traveled, and it is very early morning. You were woken up bright and early by Jens Ludvigsen, the lead secretary of science with the Moreland Society. And he led you over to the Moreland Society's camp, which you guys have just seen for the first time. Now, notably in the center of this camp, there is a very large steam engine. And the steam engine is hissing and churning with loud sounds. It's giving off kind of a wave of heat as it operates. There's also kind of the natural backdrop sound to this camp is a gurgling sound, as this steam engine seems to be sucking in water from the moor, and it's spitting it out in different outlets. There's quite a few people that you see wandering about the camp, bustling, definitely over a dozen. And you can see Jens Ludvigsen meeting with a gentleman with glasses and a very nice suit coat in the middle of the camp before this fog started serpentining and swirling all around the camp. Now, this fog did not seem natural. You've all experienced fog before. It was moving almost as if it was some sort of creature, slithering around everybody, arcing out in a web pattern before it surrounded the entire camp. And as this eerie fog surrounded the entire perimeter of the camp, there was suddenly green flashes of light that started sparking around and opening almost like green eyes off in the distance. And before you have much time to even comprehend what's happening, all of the fog just collapses in on everybody. You can feel cold gusts of wind swirling around you as this fog envelops you. Even if you're standing close to each other, it's kind of hard to see each other. And I'm going to start this off by having everybody roll an observation to see if you can keep your bearings and keep track of where everybody is.
Does a sinister spies thing take an effect now? May I?
If you can use an advantage whenever you would like, as long as you can feel like the preparation assists this situation.
If I may, Chase, I'm so sorry, Em. You can finish your thought.
I was just going to say, didn't we notice last time that the Raven's eyes flashed green?
You did.
And there are green lights flashing?
Yeah, it is a similar color to that you saw in the Raven's eye.
All right, I'm using my bonus.
Okay, so roll 2 extra dice to this. There should be an option, I think, for advantage. If not, just add 2 bonus dice.
If I may, Chase, I believe observation is more feelsy and observing people. Is that what you're going for? Okay.
This is observation is also, funny enough, resisting enchantments to an extent.
Ah, okay. I thought you were more talking like surveying the scene, like vigilance, and I wanted Matt to get
there's something
advantage.
afoot here, so this would be an observation roll.
Fair. Okay, cool.
It's good to check because my observation is 2 overall. But my vigilance would have been 7.
Yes,
So
yeah.
so
Mine's
I
a
would have
little different,
hoped,
too.
but I guess I just don't pay any attention. Yeah, I rolled 2 2s. I got nothing.
We have some bonus dice, Bill, already from the last session.
I don't need to
forget.
understand.
Blessed
All right.
or cursed.
So
Okay.
all of you succeeded except for Johan.
Wait, I haven't rolled yet. I failed also.
Oh no!
Oh, okay.
Well, I
Two of
don't
you
know what's going on
succeeded.
here.
All right. So Robert and Katrina, you guys,
Yes.
this fog swirls around you. It's cold. It's chilly. There are green lights flashing everywhere. And you two find each other in this fog. And you guys can choose one of your other allies to pull with you here. Who's one other ally that you want to find?
Miss Nordenflecht, I think you know my answer.
No one. I'm going alone. They can
I feel
all
like
rot.
since Katrina's relationship with Johan is leader and Robert's is the servant of Johan, he is naturally the one we would grab.
Yeah, they both saved me and Constance. get
Even
lost in the fog.
though Katrina will never let
So can
Constance...
we pick only one person combined or one person's each?
One person
It's fine.
combined.
It's fine.
Okay.
Give me the shaft. It's cool.
Sorry, Constance. I believe in you so much that I didn't think you
just
needed
remember,
help.
remember what your character sheet said, that Katrina can never let me come to harm.
That's true. It's
Just-
definitely true.
When Constance dies, I just want that to hang over her forever. So
All right. So yeah, you guys, you stumble upon Johan in this fog. Constance, would you like to push the roll? I'll ask you that first before we get into too much narrative.
yeah, I do
Should've made that
actually.
decision earlier.
All right.
I want to push it. Can I use some extra bonus dice too?
You can take as many as you would like.
Lovely. Okay, I will push it.
How many and what kind of dice are you taking?
Oh wait, hang on. I'm sorry. I didn't know push would just instantly re-roll it. So
No,
I'm
no,
just
you're
gonna roll it again.
Oh.
Okay.
No, you're good. So
Observation. I'm
so
gonna
that's
take.
no successes. Take as many of those dice as you would like.
Okay. I would like to take 3 blessed dice.
Okay.
I'm taking 3 because you guys left me out in the cold, so I'm taking some for myself.
That's fine.
Okay.
See if you can get a success out of 15 dice.
Fingers crossed.
I got 1.
All right.
I needed it. Okay, that was 96 altogether.
All
I
right. Make
got
sure you
one.
take a
Yeah.
a condition as
I'm gonna
appropriate.
Take.
Oh my gosh.
And
Can
that
I
has to be a
just-
mental
can I-
condition.
Yes, I'm gonna take a mental condition. Could I kind of let things play out a little bit before I decide which one?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so you 3 find each other quite quickly, and you cannot find Constance. She seems to be lost, and as this fog starts swirling around you, it kind of settles down finally, stops swirling, the chill kind of goes away, and as it warms slightly, it sends a shiver down your spines. And as things seem like they've calmed down, you suddenly start hearing just screams of agony throughout the camp. You make out about 3 of them, and shortly following those screams, those green lights appear just right next to you guys, opening like green eyes. Constance, one of them kind of spooks you and is right in front of your face, and you stumble back away from it, and you bump into Katrina, and you guys are all now kind of in a group here together. I need all of you to make me a fear roll. You are now all
they're
grouped
tough.
together, so you guys
Great.
So you're going to roll either your, let's see, what is it for fear? It's one of 2 skills.
It's logic or empathy.
Logic or empathy, and then you also add dice equal to the number of additional players with you. So you guys can each add 3 to your roll.
Great.
Also, I took frightened, Chase. That felt most appropriate here.
I like it.
So I can roll logic +3. So I can roll 8 dice. That's fun.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
also
no.
rolling 8 die since I am in the presence of Sir Bostrom, the one I've sworn to protect.
Katrina
Oh, I
got
love that.
scared. Holy shit!
Oh, how do I make it
Wow.
roll? Oh, sorry. I'll do that properly.
I got 2
didn't see what I rolled.
successes. Can I help Katrina?
Success.
I don't know
For
what you
fear
let me do
rolls,
with bonus
you
successes.
cannot.
Okay.
When
darn it.
against a fear roll, there's not really anything you can do with extra except you're just.
But 4 successes.
And I'm the officer that's like, this is too much for me, y'all. Peace.
See ya.
All right. So for a fear check, now if you fail, number one, who failed? Was it just Katrina?
Yeah, thanks.
Just Katrina.
All right. So Katrina, you take a mental condition. It was only a frightened 1 that you had to check against. So you get 1 mental condition. And then you have to choose one of the following. You have to either run away, you have to fall unconscious, you have to just be incapacitated and cower in fear, or you need to start fighting something nearby.
Oh no. And does that mean like a player character? Or can I like start slashing at the air?
So let's see here. That's a good question.
Yeah. I try to only ask good questions.
Yeah, so you choose. So the attack one is you attack
Yeah.
the nearest hostile person or creature with whatever weapon you are currently holding.
Okay.
You lose the ability to make strategic choices, and you will not stop attacking until the enemy is vanquished.
And if there are no enemies nearby, which could be the case with the fact that we're stuck in just mist, you just explode into a fit of rage and start breaking things.
Okay, I'm gonna drop unconscious.
Okay,
Oh, whoa.
excellent. All right, so you guys gather up. These eyes are opening. They're screaming. Katrina just collapses to the ground. And shortly afterwards, that fog just very quickly dissipates. And you can see there's people around the camp that are cowering, hiding. They've got fists up. They've got hammers in their hands. Everybody seems equally as frightened as all of you were. A couple other people have fainted with fear. What do you all do?
Does it seem like there's been any actual attacks, or is everyone just freaked out? Can I start checking where we heard the screams to see if anyone's been actually like attacked by anything?
Yeah, roll a vigilance.
Ooh,
I also want
vigilant.
to check on Katrina.
For sure.
Yeah, I'll trust someone else to check on Katrina.
I'll just be standing next to Sir Bostrom just in case.
I got 2 successes on my vigilance.
So you get a good look around the camp, and you don't see any signs of like actual violence. You see people looking similar to Katrina, but you don't see any signs of like a full-on attack. Though you do see the gentleman in the middle of the camp that Jens was talking to. He is pacing around, and you see him shouting, "Do a roll call! A roll call! Are we missing anybody else?" And you can see that people in the camp start looking around and checking on each other. Somebody yells out, "We can't find Orm, sir. We're missing Orm." And then somebody else shouts out, "We're missing Bard as well. Bard's gone missing."
You Rasmussen, I'm assuming. Hello.
Yeah, you gesture at him, and he sees you and starts pacing towards you pretty aggressively. Constance, as you check on Katrina, with just kind of a quick nudge, she wakes up.
Okay. Yeah, I'll like, and I'll do more than just like nudge her. But yeah, I just like, I'll hold her head up and like kind of brush her hair out of her face and just, "You all right?" "Oh, it's all right. It's all right."
Where
It's
is it?
Nothing's no, it's gone. It's gone. We're trying to figure out what exactly it was. But I just wanted to make sure you were okay.
Yes,
You are.
of course. Status
okay.
report. And she'll stand immediately.
Constance is like crouched down, so she kind of like falls back a little bit.
I'll catch your hand and help you up.
Yeah, I think I think perhaps Johan is still gathering that.
Yeah, and as you stand to your feet, you can see Johan has gestured to somebody. And you see this gentleman with very nice, styled back hair, glasses, a well-kept beard. nice clothing. He comes very aggressively stalking towards all of you. The time couldn't have been even better. You must be from the society.
Yes, we are. What's happened? Is this you have men missing? Has this happened before?
The damn satanic rituals. I'm telling you.
I am not asking for cause. I'm asking for details. Who is missing? What has happened?
This is not the first time this has happened. Satanic rituals get started, fog starts spreading around the camp, and then men go missing. This makes 5 now, I believe, if the count of 2 is correct from this incident.
Oh.
Is it normally one person at a time who goes missing, or do multiple disappear, like today?
So far, 3 incidents, 1, 2, and now 2 this time by the looks of it, though I have not confirmed the count yet. Also, pardon my manners, Presbyn Rasmussen, we have not officially met, and he'll hold out a hand to Johan, shake his hand.
Yes, hello, I'm Johan Bostrom. This is my man, Robert Wong. We have here Constance Doyle as well. Constance is the young one, and Katrina Nordenflick, she's the older lady.
Yes. I've been expecting you. Associates of Linnea's. Linnea is a brilliant woman, especially in your areas of expertise. So, please, my men will tend to whatever has happened here. Unfortunately, we are now practiced in this event. We must get down to business. The sooner you can all get started on your investigation, the sooner this can come to an end. Follow me. And he will lead all of you to a tent.
Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
How often do these happen? Like, should we expect that to happen again soon? Or you think we're good for a little bit? Or
first one happened about 2 weeks ago, and then the one before this about 3 days ago.
So the intervals are getting shorter.
Either shorter or random. We don't have enough data yet to come to a conclusion.
Of course. Okay. I'll just keep an eye out. And Katrina, just sort of frightfully observes as she follows.
Excellent. If you wouldn't mind, and he'll gesture for all of you to follow him.
Yes.
Allow me to do you a quick walkthrough for the camp. I will show you where things are, and then we'll get straight to business. Now, over there, and he gestures kind of to the north side of the camp, there's a whole bunch of just leather and hide and cloth-made tents. They're pretty nice looking. It's a pretty well put together camp. The tents look sturdy and pretty high quality. Now, that is all of our living tents. We have 4 of them set aside for you. All of you will get your own tent. I have desks. I have beds. It's not anything extravagant, but the comfort should be there far more than your typical camping venture. Anything else that you need from us for support in your investigation, I'm happy to provide it if we are able. The Moreland Society is your employer as of now, and we will provide what our employees need. Now, just over there to the left of your tents, and there's a very large tent he's gesturing to, that will be where you can get food. We have a cook, and her sons help her run and dish out food. The meals are very acceptable. So meals, of course, will be compensated by the Moreland Society. No need for compensation there. You eat on us, no matter how much you need to sustain you. Now, just over there, and he gestures to the right of your tents, that would be my tent, as well as my assistant who you've already met, Jens Ludvigsen. If you need anything from us, you can generally find me there. And this one over here that I'm leading you towards, and he'll walk, it's the other side of the camp. This is our storage tent. We have many supplies here. If there's anything you need, I would suggest that you ask me for it. I will help you find it, but if need be, you can rummage through here for anything that you need. Just make sure if you take anything, you let us know. I didn't catch your names.
Yeah, we introduced ourselves to him already.
Did you?
This is the same guy, right? This is Rasmussen. Yeah, Johan introduced all of us.
I gave him the rounds.
Excellent. Sorry, a bit frazzled after that last incident. Now, please come in here, this storage tent. I will show you our latest satanic find. And in this tent is just a bunch of crates, benches, work desks, anything that you would need for crafting something together, working on something, getting supplies. All of it's in this tent. Most notably, he is gesturing to a workbench with a pile of bones on them. The bones are quite small, not a whole lot of them, just a few bone fragments here and there, and then kind of half of a chipped human skull sitting on the workbench. We found some child bones in the moor. I knew that these satanic rituals likely involved child sacrifice, but confirming it with my own eyes is quite disturbing. What do you make of that? Anything so far?
Can I check it out? The
yeah.
bones?
For sure. If you want to, what kind of questions do you have about the bones? What are you looking for?
I guess maybe like trying some guesswork at maybe how old they could possibly be. Obviously,
Are they child bones?
Are they child bones? How old might they have? How long have they been buried potentially? Like, are they like ancient, or is it like, and then any very obvious injuries? Constant isn't like a forensics expert, but just if there's like a big gash in a bone or something like that,
Yeah, anybody who wants to investigate the bones can roll me a medicine or investigation. And if you would like to physically interact with the bones, you can add an additional dice to your roll as well.
I forgot that I am focused, so I don't
take
like penalties when I'm rolling investigation.
I would absolutely love to fall for that trap and get my hands all on these bones.
Hey, excellent.
Like, doesn't that seem like the biggest trap?
It's the biggest trap I've ever heard in my life. You can investigate the bones. Do you want to touch the bones?
You get a bonus if you
Before
touch
you
the
even
bones
asked
with your
that.
hands.
Before you asked that, Chase, I will make it clear. I wasn't thinking Constance was going to touch the bones. Like with her hands, I think she would take she would be very
pen? Yeah.
I don't know, whatever she has. Yeah, some kind of implement to sort of.
And as soon as you turn
around.
from one bone to the other, you look back and Johan has picked up the bone. He's holding the bone. He's like, this looks like a little femur.
Yeah, please do.
Somebody dies.
I got one
I
success.
got nothing. I got 8 dice, no successes.
I touched the bones. And I got one success.
Oh my gosh, I forgot I have my magnifying glass.
Have you seen this bone?
Can I roll one more d6 because it would have been in my pool and just see if it gives me a bonus success or not?
Yeah, go for it.
I've got my magnifying glass out. I'm looking at these bones.
If only these bones.
It was not an extra success, but that's okay.
Okay.
Get the one.
So Johan, you're not really sure. You're giving a look at these bones. It's hard to tell because there's so few of them and they are quite damaged. But Constance, Katrina, you guys from past research or just maybe a moment of inspiration, you can tell a couple things from this. Constance, you can tell that these bones definitely belong to a very small child, not just a young child. The size of these bones probably hints that it was a newborn. And then Constance, something that you pick up is that these bones have been very long deceased, decades at least. It's hard to pinpoint an exact year, but they've been very long past.
I will share. I'll just sort of rattle off what I'm observing as I'm seeing it. And I guess Katrina's probably filling in little details here and there.
What about you, Katrina? Are you also speaking out loud or just keeping it to yourself?
Oh, that's a weird question to ask. I'll speak it out loud.
If you say it out loud, you get a bonus die. Why don't you just say it?
If you say it out loud, the spirits will hear you and get more angry, specifically at you.
Do you want to taste the bones? Maybe?
Chase, this is probably the most distrustful session we've had so far on this channel.
As you guys are talking about the details, you guys can see a tear kind of creep up in the corner of Rasmussen's eye. He pulls out a kerchief and dabs his eye. Absolutely barbaric. Newborn children. It's been going on for so long. This place is horrible, full of barbarians. They want to stop the modernization of this area to keep their disgusting rituals alive. These oafs have been hassling us since we moved in, trying to put a stop to our machines and doing these horrible things. I assure you, Grymsted Hughes, their town, that's where you want to start looking. Now, I also have a wealth of information that I have from a dear old friend. Have any of you heard of Gabriel Sandeman?
Yes, we have all
Yes.
heard of Gabriel Sandeman. We well know who he is.
Well,
Chase, really, really fast. I just don't want to forget it before we move on from the bones. Did Constance see any obvious sign of like some kind of sacrifice, like a stab or like any sort of obvious injury that would maybe fit in with this? Like, it was a sacrifice.
you didn't, but the bones were also too damaged to get a good read on if
Okay.
like, you couldn't tell if there
Yeah.
was or wasn't.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Continue.
I have found a wealth of information from our dear past friend, Mr. Sandeman. And he goes over to one of the workbenches and he pulls open a drawer and he pulls out a leather-bound book and pats it very respectfully with a hand. This is his journal that we found. A wealth of information. Now, if I may, I would like to read for you just a couple of entries that I found that I think you might find interesting for this case. And I got a couple handouts for you guys here.
Great.
So let's go ahead and dish these out.
Oh, dish.
Production. This is going to be handouts 3E and 3F. Let's see here. Should make you guys owners.
Huh.
Here's the first one. He'll open to a page in the journal and he will begin reading it to you. I shall refer to this winged Vaesen as the devil on the moor, as there is no doubt whatever about its infernal origins. It is venerated as a guardian angel by the moorland folk, and so it has been since time immemorial. These poor blinded people, it's scarcely an exaggeration to call them fools or the savages of Davenag. They are paying a terrible price for this demonic protection. Blood and souls are what I speak of. Blood and souls. They have always sacrificed children to the powers of the moor, forever branding their immortal souls for the Dark One and the realm of everlasting torment. Now you see, Sandeman agreed with me, one of the most expert folklorists we've ever seen. These people are terrible. Start in Grymsted Hughes, I implore you. But there's more. An entry he has on devil worship. And this will be the other handout here. These are sharing to all of you players, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Excellent. He clears his throat. Grymsted Hughes is a savage place of folly and ungodly barbarism. But even here, our Lord has planted a solitary seed of Christian decency. She is a girl of peasant stock, named Signa Andersdotter, but she has a good head on her shoulders and even seems to be literate. Through this pure, innocent creature, I have gained access to the inner secrets of the moorland peasantry, and at times I feel that the truth, the glimpse of reality that my campaign for enlightenment has uncovered, is too heavy for one man to bear. But there is no longer any doubt on the matter. Devil worship has been practiced here for millennia, and the beating heart of this ancient cult is Grymsted Hughes. He slaps the journal shut as if dropping a mic and stares at you all to see what you think.
Well, I think there's quite a bit of information for us to consider. If you don't mind, could we hold on to that journal just for the time being? Just
I would
to
have it no other way.
reference.
He holds it up. The brightest of you should hold on to this as an atlas of the supernatural. And he'll proffer it to each of you to see who takes it.
Honestly, rude, but that's okay.
I think Constance will sort of let Johan.
Robert will take this from you. Robert, please grab the book.
All right, very well.
Do you touch the book, Robert? Do you I'll give you a bonus die if you touch the book.
Who's the smartest one among you to be cursed?
Please, Robert, touch the book.
I will touch the book.
Yes, you take it.
Excellent. Yeah, it's a nice feeling book. It's got it's very old leather, very worn. Just it's a thick journal, I should clarify. Like this is a big, packed full, thick journal. Many pages, all of them worn and thumbed through. And yeah, go ahead and mark that in your inventory. Remember it however you want to remember that you've got that.
Sandeman's journal.
Now. Oh yes.
I'm so sorry. You are probably quite busy, and perhaps it would be good for us to just gather our thoughts for a moment as a group here, and we can catch up to you in your tent if we should require any more information from you at this time.
Yes, of course. I have much work to do here, so I wouldn't have it any other way.
Of
You know where to
course.
find me if you need me, and I have nothing else to say on the matter. I wish you all luck, and please, please be safe out there. We are dealing with very dark and powerful things. But
Yes.
I know Linnea would not have sent weaklings out here. She was a powerful woman herself.
Well, we do appreciate the confidence. Now, we will let you know what we find. Thank you so much.
Yes. He puts a hand on Robert's shoulder. May God bless you. And pats you on the back, and he walks out.
Constance will
All
like
right.
gently shut. We're in like the storeroom, right?
Yep, you're in the storage tent.
She'll just kind of, she'll just close the flap and say,
Zip.
well, just initial impressions working off of gut feelings. I think these people are rather extreme.
Yes. I met a man from Grymsted last night, August, and he didn't seem like a devil worshipper.
I met two of them, and while they were quite unpleasant, I think you would both remember, they also didn't strike me as the devil worshipping sort. They seemed far too stupid, if I'm being honest, for that kind of thing.
Yes, but you never know. Look, I would say when we arrived and we heard these tales of devil worship, I thought they are just angry about the locals. They don't like these Luddites, and so they project this thing upon them, right? They need an explanation, they go to devil worship. But these books by Sanderman, his accounts as well, seem perhaps maybe it is more worthy of investigation. And I say you cannot trust what you feel about a person. You have to look at the facts. They can maybe they do not seem like a devil worshipper. Maybe they seem very nice. Maybe they seem like a lovely person. But you cannot
Right.
trust this. This will be your downfall. We should investigate properly. And this, I was not convinced until we see someone maybe a bit more knowledgeable who has said such eerily similar things. Maybe there is more merit to this theory than originally I had thought.
Well, I have a pretty good sense for people. That being said, I don't disagree at all that we should do more investigation. I think we can at least all agree that there is something quite strange going on. Whether it is devil worship or some other supernatural occurrence.
What?
it
You've never
seems
been
to
on
be
a misty
problem.
moor before? That's how all the mist goes. Mist comes, everybody screams. No, I am being facetious. Of course, yes, it is clearly the work of an evil spirit.
Yes, but perhaps before we leave camp, did we want to ask him anything more? Or any of the workers?
I think if we ask Rasmussen, he says the same thing every time, right? He says, oh, they come, they worship devil, then oh, spirits. We could ask the people of the camp what happened in the last attacks, and maybe we do not worry about people, we do our own investigation. Look at where they have found these child bones, look at this steam engine. Maybe do our own look around rather
Yes.
than talk to people who just tell us to go to Hughes.
Yes, of course. I am not looking for any conclusions from these people. They clearly don't know what they're talking about. But gather more details, of course.
And just for kind of a recap for you guys of what this camp layout is kind of like here. Now, you guys have your storage tent here with the bones and the supplies. There is a kitchen tent where he mentioned there is a kitchen worker with her two sons. There are a handful of workers just kind of wandering about the camp. There are many living tents, 4 of them being your own and 1 of them being Rasmussen's. And then there is the large steam engine in the center of the camp.
Mighty engine.
Can I had a question about that when you first described it.
Mhm.
What does it seem to be for? Is it like a drill or like what is it?
No, it's a dredger. It's like pumping the moors. It's getting because it's all marshland.
Yeah,
So it's
okay,
trying
okay.
To pump and dredge and get the water out and
Got it.
and make
got
it
it.
arable land, I think.
Okay.
Yep, exactly. Looks like it's draining water and putting them into outlets. Knowing more about what it does in depth than that would take some investigation.
Okay. Well, it seems like there's quite a bit to cover here. Do we want to divide and conquer?
I am not good at talking with people.
Yes,
They seem
we
to be,
are all quite aware of that, Johan, at
They
this
seem
point.
to get angry very quickly. I think maybe because they are not very smart. And so when I say a smart thing, they do, it goes over their head and they think they are being insulted. But they are who they are. They cannot help it. So maybe I will stay in my tent and you bring me things. I will think on them, maybe. I will read about things. I will see what I can find. You find me little facts and things. This is why I pay you, Constance.
You are not paying me in this situation, Johan.
Yes,
I am
but
working for the Moreland
overall,
Society. Or
in
did you miss that
general.
detail?
But who owns the Moreland Society?
Fine, but you also have legs and eyes, and you can probably go look into that machine, whatever the heck it's doing.
Yes, my legs take me to the tent. My eyes read my books.
Fine. I'll bring you whatever I can.
Robert is my legs and eyes.
Yes.
He will look and walk and hold and touch.
Fantastic.
Touch the bones, Robert. You have not yet touched these little bones. Please roll them with your fingers. Feel the evil.
So, quick shout out. Chat has unlocked to add an adversary. That was one of our
snap.
community goals. So, some point in this session or the next, we're going to have an additional adversary show up.
Oh man.
So, there is
Glad
still
that
the
you know
option to
that.
add an ally as well.
Imagine what's going to happen when you introduce the next character who isn't our adversary. All we know is that someone is about to be introduced who's going to hate us. You're going to be like, and now a little girl comes up. Well, shoot her!
Oh, that's so funny. All right. Do you guys want to maybe go round table and see what you guys are doing?
Yeah, let's do a little
Yeah.
table talk. What do you guys all want to do? Constance is pretty good at talking to people, so I would be
Great.
fine to go maybe talk to some workers and get more information. I was
Yeah.
thinking about asking them, like, obviously what happened and sort of get their side, and also maybe ask about who's gone missing and like if there's any common thread with those people. So that was kind of my thought.
All
If
right.
you guys think of anything else that Constance should ask those people, let me
No,
know.
I think getting info about the attacks. I think the stuff that happened is going to be the most important stuff to collect,
Yeah.
and it might then be something we can specifically investigate afterwards. Like,
Yeah.
is there anything that we know has caused mists to appear? Can we tie that into
Mm,
another
mhm.
attack where they got eaten by a bear? I
like
don't know,
patterns and things. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
cool. Constance will
That's
do that
fair.
then.
Great.
Okay. Excellent. Does Constance want to go first?
Oh, did we want to? Do
No,
you
why
guys
don't
want
we-
me to do that
let's-
first and then we
Well,
follow up, or you guys
Why
want to
don't
all
we? Yeah,
figure out
no,
what
let's
you're
figure
doing?
out what we're doing and then
Okay.
do them in an order that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
Em, do you have a plan for what Katrina could do? Do you have investigation skills?
I'm not super great at investigation skills. I have a little bit of empathy, so I could try to go talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
Constance could go investigate stuff if you'd rather talk to people, Katrina.
Yeah, maybe that makes a better use of our...
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Okay.
that could be good.
Cool. Then Constance will go like poke around. I guess probably look at the machine and maybe whatever else we learn from Katrina
Yeah,
talking to people.
And I think also like the machine and like where the bones were dredged up from and things like that. Like if there's anything else in that area.
Okay, yeah. Robert, you're the eyes and hands and legs and
Yeah.
feet and ears
Yeah.
and nose of Johan. What are you doing?
You are
Yeah.
all my senses except for proprioception.
Is
I am proprioception and you are everything else.
if there's anything in particular Mr. Bolstrom would like Robert to grab or test, then he'd be all about it. But Robert, one thing he would like to do is to make sure to go to the kitchen to get some food for Mr. Bolstrom, as well as for Miss Nordenflicht, since she did pass out earlier. And Robert is wondering if maybe it was simply lightheadedness due to lack of nourishment.
Yeah, definitely. That was what it was.
Constance doesn't need to eat. It's fine. You don't even need to think about her or ask or anything. She's fine. She's cool.
She's fine.
All right. Fantastic. Well, let's start going around then. I guess let's go ahead and start with Constance. Now, you guys are all splitting up then, correct?
Yes, yeah. So I'm gonna basically just be trying to read up. I've got my collection of books with me. I'm just going to be taking any new information we find and adding it to one big kind of learning role at the end.
Excellent.
So
Are you taking the journal to add to your studies?
Yeah, I think I'll grab the journal from Robert.
Yeah.
So maybe we can swap that over to my inventory if a ghost comes out of it.
Cool.
And
Ghost
Yeah.
comes
and
out.
then and yeah, I'll just be reading through that. I'm looking at mist. I'm looking at child bones. I'm looking at ravens. I'm looking at green eye and anything new that uncovers, I'll add to my research. Maybe I'll roll that at the end.
Fantastic. All right. Yeah, Constance. Let's start with you. You're
Hey.
going around, and you're chatting up just general workers around the camp.
I'm not chatting. Katrina's doing the chatting
Oh,
now. I'm
all
gonna
right.
be poking my nose where it's not supposed to be.
Yeah, looking at the
Okay.
physical evidence.
Yeah, what are you
So-
poking around at?
Okay. I want a good look at the machine, try and get a better idea of how it works and what it's doing. And I'd also like to figure out where they unearthed the bones and look around that site.
I love it.
Yeah, those are the two things I can think of right now.
Okay, yeah. Why don't you go ahead and roll me an investigation?
Okay, here we go. I am focused, so I ignore my penalty. And I have my magnifying glass out. I'm walking around camp with my giant magnifying glass, looking at this giant machine, just like really close up. Let's see. What's our bonus dice pool like? I'll leave the bonus dice for another roll because I'm rolling 8. Hopefully I get something out of it. I got 1 success.
All right, excellent.
Dang.
Yeah, so poking around with your magnifying glass, people don't seem to be giving you the friendliest looks around here, but people don't treat you like you're out of place or anything. Like they don't, you clearly have access to wander around here. And as you're looking around at the machinery and everything, nobody stops you. But they don't seem to have the friendliest disposition towards you. You do pick up a couple of notable things as you're poking around. Number one, as you're looking at this steam engine, which is very, very loud and it is powerful. It hisses out steam. The temperature increases by it. It's kind of a sharp contrast to the cold of the moor. It gets almost unbearably hot when you get right up by the steam engine. You do see that some of the pipes coming out of the steam engine, you see very deep gouges scratched into the pipes at several locations. And in addition to that, you also find a knife near the pipe that has the most serious gouges on them. This is a very large, beautifully decorated hunting knife with a decorative wood handle with various animals carved into it. And on the blade, there is a name engraved on it. And the name is Jens Erik Jensen, G.H.
Jens Erik Jensen,
Mm-hmm.
G.H.
Yep.
Okay. And it's a
Hunting knife.
it's a hunting knife. And there were gouges. Like, does it seem connected? Does it seem like a knife gouged the pipes
Are you
kind of
gonna
thing?
like test? Are you like testing the width of the
Yeah,
knife on the gouges?
yeah.
It does look
Do you
like
touch the knife? Do you put it into your physical hand?
it does look like the knife is what made these gouges. It does
Got
seem
it.
to fit. And the knife is in fact quite dulled, as if
Yeah.
somebody's been hacking at metal with it.
Okay. Was the knife? Did the knife seem hidden, or like it had like someone had tried to hide it or like tuck it away somewhere, or was it more like
It's kind of out of
panic
the
ensued
way.
and someone like tossed it and ran away, that kind of thing? You know what I mean? Like, was it meaningfully placed where it was?
Seems more like the latter. It looks like
Okay.
it was kind of just haphazardly dropped.
Ah, okay. Interesting. All right.
Excellent.
I'll take the knife with me in case that wasn't clear.
Okay, you got it. Go ahead and add special hunting knife to your inventory.
Sweet. And
Uh, could-
then, was that
Yeah.
also where the bones were dug up? This
So-
particular site?
The bones were not. You guys actually have heard about those. They weren't dug up. They were sucked up into the steam engine.
Oh dear.
So they were in the moor that is
Got
currently
it.
being pumped.
Okay. Well, Could I maybe just do like, I don't know if this is a thing that you can do, but like, I don't know, like a vibe check on the site. Do I get the heebie-jeebies or anything? Or does it feel basically like all the rest of the camp?
Yeah, so getting vibe checks, so to speak, are more around the supernatural talents that you can get, mostly ones like that the occultist starts with. But for you, I mean, there's nothing odd happening right now. The vibe check you kind of get is that people don't seem to like you so much.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. All right, that sounds good. Also, Constance is actually not really trying to be friends with it. Like, she's not really interacting with anyone. She's on the job. It's like a light switch has flipped. She's like all business right now and just like ignoring everyone. And she's at work. So
Okay. Yeah, you don't bother anybody. Nobody bothers you.
cool. I will eventually, whenever we're all rounded up, I'll take all this information back to Johan, the central brain.
Fantastic. All right, Katrina, you're chatting people up, correct?
I am chatting people up. Could you give me a list of people to talk to again? I know that there was the cook and her sons.
Yeah, mechanically speaking, there is the cook and her 2 sons, and then there is Rasmussen and Jens Ludvigsen, the secretary, and then there is just generic workers.
All right,
Bunch
I'm
of
going to
them
go
all
talk
over the
to the cook and her sons because food is where people congregate and talk. So I think they'll have all of the rumors about town.
Excellent. I'm going to put you and Robert together then,
Okay.
because Robert is also heading to get food.
Perfect, because I also think Katrina, she took the frightened condition, so she doesn't really want to be alone right now.
Very good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a bit early for food at the moment. It looks like most of these workers here have already had breakfast, so the kitchen is quite clear. But there is a very short, blonde-haired woman tending the counter, and she's got 2 like pre-adolescent sons that are taller than her. They're like near puberty, quite tall for young boys, helping her serve the food. And yeah, as you guys walk in, she'll give a smile and a wave. Oh, hello, sir, madam. How can I help you?
I'll defer first to Robert while I just kind of like observe them for a minute.
Hello. I hear that it's all you can eat.
Oh, yes, anything that you need. You are the special researchers that Rasmussen has hired, yes?
Yes. Could we have some biscuits and perhaps, do you have any sausage left?
Yes, we do. That's about all we have here, actually, is we have sausage, we have bread puddings. We don't have complex foods, but quite filling, I can assure you. We make it
Excellent.
taste as good as we can.
Great. I've heard it's very acceptable, which is pretty good for all you can eat.
Isn't that the most flattering compliment you can get from a lead researcher?
Right. Are
Yes.
you... did you come here with them?
She'll gesture to the boys who will start serving up plates of food pretty sloppily and quickly. And before she even like starts talking, you have 2 trays in front of you ready to go. This is just work for me. I do know Rasmussen. He's a friend from back home. So I take this. He pays well and gives my boys work as well.
Great. And then Robert will maneuver one of these plates in front of Katrina and say, "Please go ahead. You looked a little out of it earlier."
Well, stomach will fix that right up.
Thank you, Robert. And you just started like kind of playing with the food, tearing apart the biscuit a little. So I'm sorry, it wasn't clear to me. Are you a local?
No, we're from Uppsala.
No, it sounds like that's where we're from. That's amazing.
I'm from Uppsala.
How about that? Big city.
You know, you could always use a cook.
Rasmussen is from there as well, but he's always out on the job, which means I'm typically always out on the job.
Well, you get to see a lot of things, hear a lot of things too, likely. Have you heard
suppose.
anything interesting? Something I should know
Interesting.
about?
Well, I don't know what your special researchers consider interesting, but there's all kinds of interesting things to my ears around here. Glowing mists, people disappearing, devil worship. Horrible, horrible things.
Tell me about all of that.
I don't know what else there is to say. The boys you catch that the boys kind of give each other a look, and then they both kind of sit down looking bored on chairs in the back. Well, we've had, I think, 4 disappear now. Maybe 5. That fog keeps coming. It's terrible. I am not one to believe in such things, but I am starting to become a believer. I guess the powers of Satan really are powerful manifests, aren't they?
So it would seem.
One of the boys in the back raises his hand.
You speak.
Yes, ma'am. I think it's all a big elaborate prank.
A prank. Tell
The
me
other
more.
boy punches him on the shoulder. It's not a prank.
Prepubescent boy. Ah,
A prank, it's ghosts. I saw that old lady at the graveyard. It's got to be her.
Old lady at the graveyard.
Yeah, there's that creepy graveyard, just like up north of here somewhere. I see this creepy old lady ghost there. She cries. That place
What is
is
she
definitely
crying
haunted,
for?
and I think it's creeping down here. I don't know. When I pass up to the main town, I usually just run away past that graveyard. But sometimes when I pass by for groceries, I hear it. He's just being a chicken shit. It's a prank. I've been up to Grymsted
Hey.
Hughes, and I've heard those. Sorry, ma'am. Sorry,
Language.
I didn't
Be
notice
kind to your brother.
I didn't notice the uniform. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I shouldn't tell you how to parent, ma'am.
Are you police?
No.
No. Well, if you were police, I would tell you that you should go arrest those stupid. He looks at you like if that's acceptable.
She doesn't say anything.
Jensen brothers up at Grymsted Hughes. I've heard them talking about trying to destroy this camp all the time. I think this is just some kind of prank.
Drunk, disorderly folk.
Yes, ma'am.
She'll approach. Are they sitting at like a table?
They're sitting on little chairs behind a serving counter.
Oh, okay. She won't go behind the serving counter. That seems not chill. But she'll take her first bite of food and study them. Young eyes and ears tend to see things that others don't. If you
We do lots of grocery runs, ma'am.
Okay. Well, if you see or hear anything else interesting, let me know. Anything about ravens or crows, perhaps?
Are you paying for it? The mom turns around and like waves at him like, stop it.
Depends on how good your
Never
information is.
mind. No, it's fine, ma'am. Never mind. Well, that's enough from my voice. I apologize. Is there anything else we can help you with?
I look over to Robert.
No, I think I'm good. Miss Nordenflex.
While she's making eye contact with Robert, I look at the 2 boys and I take out a coin and I put it underneath my plate.
Ooh.
And like you make eye contact with them?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, they both kind of smile. And when the mom turns around to work on something, you see both of them race for it. Always come back for more. Stop that. You will stop it. All right, let's go to Johan for a minute.
Okay.
Johan, what are you working on? You're reading through some books.
Yeah, okay, let's investigate. I'd like to point out as well for everybody, this is the second time we've had mention of this cemetery. I believe whoever was talking to the barmaid at the inn that we were staying at, Katrina, so Katrina knows all about this. Crowmother was saying like, oh, there's no devil worship, but there's weird stuff that happens at the plague cemetery, and that's where like unmarried mothers and other weird creeps were buried. So that's clearly next on our list of places to go. Like we can go to the Hus and we can go to the plague cemetery. It's popped up a couple times now. I've got new information. I've done some research into these Vaesen before. I've got some new info, which is we know that a method of their appearance, right? We saw the crow earlier, but now we're like, I'm cross-referencing both the books I brought with me. I brought a collection of books on Moorland Vaesen, and this new journal from Sandeman to basically just look for references specifically to any of the phenomena we've seen, to mists, a relation to milings, because we've already looked at the child bones, whether there's a miling connection to mist, or whether there is anything in his notes like, when the devil arrives, it attacks in a misty green fog. Be like, oh, there you go, that's it, that's the devil. So I want to look more now that we have some like a method of attack. That's my first port of call because I don't yet have this new information from other people as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, I love it. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and roll me a learning?
I shall.
And we will go from there.
Now my book collection gets me a bonus of 1 as well, so I'll throw that in.
Yep, please do.
So I'll roll that. That's 9 dice. I got a success.
Excellent. Would you like to push for additional? Now, if you push, you keep your success and you can fish for more.
Okay, now I have a question because it seems for most of this system that success failure is a fairly binary state. What am I getting out of having more successes? You got like thresholds that I hit for extra info?
Yeah, so this is how it works. So generally it's just success or failure. Certain checks are difficult and require more. In this case, I'm offering you, there is sometimes additional successes will get you additional information. So in this case, you could benefit from more successes if you wanted to try to push for it.
Well, why don't I try and push for it? Let's give it a crack. I'm just going to keep going.
It's cool. So go ahead and push it, and then you'll choose one of your mental conditions to take.
Well, I think, as always, when he gets too deep into... Johan is an academic, but he's a passionate academic. So I'm going to add angry as my mental condition that I've taken on. Because he's very... Like, he's reading through Sandeman's notes, and he's just like, why would you... This is terrible. You started one story, then you've moved on to another. This isn't a novel. This is an academic text. What? Today you've written that you ate some nice bread. Why would I care that you ate... This is not pertinent to my... And he's like, literally, you can... As people pass by the tent, you can hear him literally shouting at dead men for the things that they wrote 50 years ago. He's got a book by an old academic from like 1770. And he's like, that's not even properly researched. You can't just say these things. Why would you think you can just put this down like it's a fact? That's not a fact. You just made this up. What is your source for this? Oh, I talked to like a local person. I don't care if you talk to a local person. This has nothing to do with me. There's nothing to do with you. It was once misty in Uppsala. It's always misty in Uppsala. So he's just screaming.
Everybody just hears the ramblings of Johan as he studies. Yeah. I love it. Yeah, why don't you go and push that roll and see what you get.
I'll re-roll.
And you can also take any of your bonus dice here if you would like. You've got 9 total. 4 of them are cursed.
We have 9 bonus dice?
Yeah.
I'll take another 3.
4 are cursed, there's 2 blessed dice left and 4 cursed dice.
Take both blessed.
Take the cursed dice. I'm not taking those cursed dice. I don't need a curse. So I'm rolling. I don't take my -1. I didn't hit push. I just started a new roll.
Just kidding. There are 5 blessed.
I'm going to take 2 blessed dice. So I'm going to roll with a bonus of 3 extra dice. So I'm rolling like 11 dice.
Yeah.
To get 3 more successes. So I'm sitting on a total of 4 successes. But I'm angry.
Okay. 4 successes total. So here's what you've got to break down here, Johan. Now, you got very extensive research material that you brought with you. You also have Sandeman's journal. Now, Sandeman's journal is written in like very old fancy script, and it's quite difficult to read. It's a painful read through. His handwriting is beautiful, but it's almost too beautiful. Now, at the very front cover, you can see it says Notations from Grymsted Lyng by G. Sandeman. So with your successes, one of them is going to get you the success you need for your learning check. A second of them, normally I'd be giving you options, but you maxed it out. 4 was the total. One of them will be some additional information, and then 2 more is going to have you research at the maximum possible speed, which is still going to take you a bit of time. It's probably going to push you into like the late afternoon. So you are studying. We'll give you some juicy information. But in the meantime, you guys probably have time for one more activity if you would like while Johan is studying.
I have a quick question about my info.
Mhm.
I just want to make sure I didn't write this down wrong. I wrote down the brothers that Constance encountered last time at the tavern, last night, I guess. I wrote down as Hans and Ejnar. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Enhar.
Enhar.
Enhar. Probably Enhar is how you say it.
Enhar.
Or
Okay.
How's it spelled?
Egnar. So I guess it is Ejnar. Who knows?
Or maybe Einar.
Maybe
The
Einar.
J is silent.
Einar
Anyway,
is probably, yeah.
it's not Jens. Is the point.
It's not Jens.
Okay. That's
Yep.
what I wanted to clarify. Because they named the kids said, so maybe the three of us can at least meet up outside the tent and sort of like swap stories. And we know not to go inside because Johan is in a mood and yelling at books. So we're probably just having our own little private powwow outside to
That's
like.
not even how you spell that.
Oh goodness.
Actually, Constance will meet up with you guys and look expectantly at Robert, and then she looks disappointed. I also haven't eaten yet.
Oh, the kitchen is
Constance.
open. It's all you can eat.
As I assume Robert has like a plate for you.
Yes.
I swear, I have to do all the work around here. All right, she'll tell you what she found out. And the kids mentioned the Jensen brothers, right?
Yep.
Karina?
Yes, they mentioned the Jensen brothers, and they said they were drunk and disorderly.
Yes. Well, I did find this knife, and it has the name Jensen on it. But
Does it? I thought I said it. Was it
it's-
Jensen?
Yeah, it was Jens Jensen.
Jens Eric Jensen, GH.
Good hunter.
But I did meet two drunk and disorderly fellows last night, and neither of them were named Jens. The only Jens we've met so far is the assistant, the secretary, excuse me, but he doesn't strike me as the hunting type, nor
So-
the one to be carving the pipes.
And
This
we
is
did
important
get his
clarification.
surname as well. His name
Oh.
is Jens Ludvigsen.
Yes.
Yeah, so Jens is like a title. It's like Mr.
It's like
or
sir.
Sir. Mhm.
I did not know that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that either. Well, finding out new facts about Scandinavia.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
okay. So
So we don't
Eric
even know his name. He
Jensen
doesn't even
is
trust
the
him.
name. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
so
just
Ludvigsen
Ludvigsen.
is, you know,
Ludvigsen. Okay, so
Mm.
Eric Jensen then. Well, I presume that must be one of the Jensen brothers.
Huh.
Do we wish to go to one of these other locations without Johan? Or do we want to just continue looking around the camp? I would rather.
I would be
Personally-
loath to leave Johan alone in a place that's being plagued
Right.
by mists forcing
Yes.
people to disappear.
Yes, and I would rather not go to the what was it? The
Graveyard?
plague cemetery?
Yeah.
By myself? Yes.
Right.
Perhaps we can just wait a bit on that one.
I would
Um,
like to speak to someone, maybe you can recommend too, about why they're so certain this is devils.
Well,
Besides
Just-
the fact of the book.
I'm under the impression that actually this was more than an impression. Rasmussen is part of the Rosenbergers, right, Chase? Is that right?
Allegedly. That's what Linnea thinks.
Linnea believes that Rasmussen is a member of the Rosenbergers, and while of a similar ilk as our society, I believe that they approach things with a more religious undertone, as you can see in Sandeman's journal. So I suspect he's just sort of a man after Sandeman's own mind. And as the leader of the camp, perhaps he's just influenced everyone else to believe as such. But I think it could be worth exploring more and finding out why it is they think that exactly.
We should also maybe ask who... never mind. We know the answer to that. I'm sorry my brain is not working tonight. Good point.
Who is Rasmussen? Have we seen him?
Without giving away the fact that the equipment has been attacked, perhaps we should find out if there's anyone else who's been particularly loud about stopping this construction.
That could be a good idea. And I am curious to see if there's some sort of pattern with those who have gone missing. So perhaps those are 2 more leads we can track down before Johan is finished with his episode in there.
Yes. Do we think that Rasmussen would be the best person to ask?
Maybe it depends on about what.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably learn from Rasmussen who has been giving him the most trouble.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then you
I'd
want to talk
probably
to...
I'll talk to people and get a sense of who these people are who have gone missing. I think I can just kind of gather that around the camp.
Well,
Robert,
Yes.
besides run around at the beck and call of Johan, what else is it you want to do right now?
At the moment, I'm a little bit concerned. And he'll just kind of turn towards Miss Nordenflicht, and just kind of nod.
it is always a comfort to have you by my side, Robert, but if you have
Yes.
something else you need to do, don't let me hold you back.
Very well. As far as talking with the people here, their attitudes towards Grymsted Hoose, I am not a fan. I fear that if I hear more vitriol without any substantive supporting, that we might tussle.
Oh, and they're already not exactly friendly, smiling faces here, so we should avoid that if at all possible.
Right.
Perhaps, Robert, you could poke around the supply tent and see if there's anything useful for us.
Sure. I can take a look.
And feed the
All
horse.
right. That's true. We do have our horse.
Yeah.
All right. That sounds like a plan. I think Constance will listen at the tent flap for a second and gauge what Johan is saying and his pitch and everything. How animated he is. Yes, I think perhaps we've timed this perfectly. Perhaps when we have all returned, he'll be just about finished.
Excellent. Yeah, there's a couple people kind of eavesdropping by the tent, just workers that are a little confused about the loud shouting and loud exclamations, but they eventually go back to work.
Okay. Who
Okay.
wants to start?
So Robert, you're going to go check out the supply tent.
Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah. So looking around the supply tent, go ahead and roll me a vigilance. Or no, actually, this one would be an investigation.
All right.
Yeah, that's how you
0
research, Hexeter.
successes.
Would you like to push, or are you use any bonus dice?
Yeah, I'll push. I'm picturing in this case, it's still thinking about how much people have talked bad on the people from Grymsted Hoose, and how he met someone who was perfectly kind, perfectly normal, and helpful even. I'm going to be angry as well.
Okay,
So
I like it.
let's try. That's still no
Still
success.
no go,
No!
unless you want to dip from the 5 blessed or the 7 cursed dice.
Yeah, let's throw some cursed dice in there.
All right, excellent.
Okay, here we go. I'll use 2 of them. I don't want to use too many of them. Nope.
Okay.
I'm just tipping things over at this point, letting my frustrations out.
Yeah, you kind of scour that entire supply tent. You look for anything useful, and there's really not. I mean, you've got the bones there on the table still. It's really just basic supplies. You can't even really hear yourself think. There's so much bustling of the workers moving around, working on things, the steam engine hissing, and yeah, just nothing interesting turns up.
Okay, great.
All right, Katrina and Constance, what are you two doing?
Katrina was going to go talk to Rasmussen, right?
I am going to do that. Yes.
All right. Yeah, Rasmussen is currently out and about, just kind of delegating people.
Really quick, sorry. Retcon back in our little powwow. Constance will ask Katrina if she wants the wine.
No. This guy doesn't deserve our wine.
Well, those two last night didn't deserve our wine either.
That's definitely true.
It's manipulation wine is what it is.
All right, I'll bring it.
Okay. It gives you a +1
Thank
to
you.
inspire or manipulate with alcohol.
I'll definitely need it. I'm going to use a lot of cursed dice here in a moment, folks.
Ooh.
Yeah, so this guy doesn't really even make eye contact with you. He's just shouting out orders. This more's not going to pump itself. Come on. Put more effort into it. Keep it going. We have work to be done. Good work. Yes, Katrina. Miss, pardon me. I forgot your title.
Officer Nordenflicht, if you please.
Officer Nordenflicht. Yes, what can I do for you?
I have a few questions pertaining to this investigation.
Yes, please. Anything I can answer?
Is there...
Watch that more, you'll fall in. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
I am quite sure that if someone falls in, he can be pulled out.
No, they get stuck and they die.
He's correct. It is quite dangerous to fall into the moor. But continue.
Then mind your step!
I'm trying. Stop talking to me.
That's what I keep telling them.
Well, conduct your business as you see fit, but I was curious, is there anyone who has been particularly antagonistic about your projects here? Also, thanks for the raid! Right,
Ooh, thanks, Bright. Good to see you and your folk here. Troublesome. The entirety of Grymsted Hughes, I imagine. I haven't caught anybody personally in the act of sabotaging, but I see figures run away when there's pipes being tinkered with or tents being cut. We run out to investigate and they go cowering away.
Ooh, I need names, sir.
I haven't caught them yet to give you names. Wish I could.
And you
But
have not
I
gotten
assure
to
you
know them well enough to...
That town is full of wretched people. You could easily put the entire town at fault. It's a small
Can you be
town.
specific to their wretchedness rather than just the book that you have read from a long time ago? Things change.
Listen, I can hear from the passionate research happening within the tent that your associate will soon understand that book is a wealth of knowledge, especially to people
Terrible.
with...
Who wrote this?
He kind of pauses, seems a little frustrated, especially for people who understand the other worlds such as us. Sandeman was an absolute brilliant mind. If he thinks that town is full of devil worshippers, devil followers, then I assure you they are. Sandeman did not make incorrect theories.
While I am not disputing the fact that there could be devil worshippers here in town, we don't know if these devil worshippers are the cause of our problems here, and it is my responsibility to research all different avenues instead of committing solely to devil worshippers. They could be peaceful devil worshippers, hailing Satan within the comfort of their own hearths.
Keep the steam running. Yes, no offense, Officer Nordenflicht, but I do believe that is the reason I hired investigators. And so I'm uncertain of why you are questioning me about this instead of taking yourself to Grymsted Hughes and rooting out the culprits there. He makes eye contact with you this time, seeming kind of irritated.
It seems as if we will both have to do our jobs as we see fit.
He kind of just gives an irritated nod. You have your task, officer.
And you yours. Good luck with the Moors. She's gonna turn on her heel and march away. Sorry, Tori, it didn't go as well as we were hoping.
Not even a sip of wine.
No, he was too focused. Maybe you can go see him later.
No drinking on the job. I get it.
All right. Yeah, so as you guys poke around and chat with people, Johan, you have probably finalized at least a good bit of research. Now, something that you have gathered, a few things that you've gathered from this journal, cross-referencing your books. Number one, this journal is indeed a wealth of knowledge. You can't verify how much of it is true, but this Gabriel Sandeman seemed to have had many encounters with Vaesen. He was definitely a Rosenberger. He has potentially valuable information about a variety of different underground Vaesen. Now, he does have somewhat, depending on your outlook, he does seem to think that all of these Vaesen are children of Satan and a more religious view than your society typically takes on things. But yeah, there's a lot of good knowledge. Another thing you gather is that this Devil of the Moor doesn't seem to add up, at least with, if a bird is of interest to you, like this raven that you've seen, the Devil of the Moor that he speaks of is mentioned to have bat-like wings, to be quite large, and doesn't really fit anything that you have currently seen. Nothing is ringing any bells to his devil that he speaks of.
No, so there's no like connections between that and like attacking in the mist and okay, cool. Love it.
Right. The Devil of the Moor that he speaks of is a more direct creature that didn't sneak around in mists. It would appear, it would watch, it would demand a sacrifice, or it would attack.
Yeah, it's not like a mystical magic. It's just like, I'm a big old Batman. I'm gonna get you.
Yeah, and the Devil of the Moor was so not subtle that people would make sacrifices to it, and people knew that there was something supernatural happening around the moors here. But later in his journal, he mentions that he hadn't seen the Devil of the Moor for quite some time. Another important piece of information that you get, or significant, I shouldn't say important, but something that is a repeated mention, is he does continue to mention this same peasant woman, Signa Andersdottir.
And again, surely we got a reference to from Crowmutter, I think, again, that there's someone living who's like a romantic or familial connection to Sandeman. There might be a leftover relative or a lover. So I think clearly that was her as the lover part, possibly. Like I think
anybody who describes somebody as pure and innocent and lovely is for sure interested.
Yeah, so I think they were clearly became a couple, and either she's still alive or maybe a child they had is still alive, because there was a reference that Crowmutter had to that as well in last episode.
And production, this is handout 3G, but as you're searching through this journal, you do see that there is a yellowed photograph of Signa Andersdottir.
I hope you took a photo of me and you've put it in here.
I don't know. Does that check out?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh.
All right, so we're looking for Wednesday Addams.
So those are some notable things that you gathered. Now, something else is you have heard word of Mylings, and Myling is an actual Vaesen, and it is something that Sandeman did have quite a bit of knowledge on. It is a pretty common legend around the moors, and he had done a lot of study into how to banish Mylings, how to protect against Mylings, what the weaknesses of Mylings were. And the information that he has gathered with a Myling is that they are a murdered child who is typically seeking vengeance on the parent that murdered it, or sometimes they can have vengeance against either of the parents, or sometimes against an object of the parents. And a Myling's purpose is that they just want to see whatever their focus of hatred is destroyed, and then they want to be put to rest. If the focus of their hatred was towards the parent, they want to be put to rest on their own. If it was something else, they want to be put to rest with the parent. With your extraordinary knowledge you got with this learning check, you also gather how to actually banish a Myling. And the way that you banish a myling is you must destroy the focus of its hatred, or if the focus of its hatred is a living parent, they must apologize and seek forgiveness. And then the remains of the myling must be wrapped in cloth, which Sandeman used to believe had to be soaked in breast milk, but later found that any kind of milk could work just as well. And then put to
Thank
rest.
God.
He also has heard from local legend that there is some kind of naming ritual that could aid the banishment of a myling, but he never finished his research into that. And he only mentioned that the locals said something about needing to name a myling.
Okay, sorry. So to quickly recap, myling, we already knew this from last time. Myling hates, it was a child who was killed, often wants to get vengeance on the parents, but sometimes I guess not on the parents, on some other thing that killed them as a child. They either we need to get rid of the thing that they hate, or if it's their parent, get an apology from the parent. Then we need to wrap the remains of the myling in milk and cloth and bury them, or was there a third step to that after the milk cloth?
Bury them and put them to rest, and there was mention of also needing some kind of naming ritual that the
so the
locals
naming
used to
ritual,
mention.
Sandeman didn't know much, but locals said you got to name the myling, because if especially we're looking here at newborn bones, probably wasn't named. Like if it was a 2-year-old, you'd be like probably was named by then, although you never know back in the 1800s. But looks like maybe we'll have to name a baby corpse, and don't call it Jens because that's not a name; it's a title. It'll be like,
I know,
hey,
you can
that's
name a
not my
baby
name.
Mister, technically.
Even though Jens is the most popular Danish name from 2008, as my research has shown. Okay, so we're getting a lot of info on how to deal with a myling. We have some myling connections of the. Do I see any connection between the way a myling manifests and any of the stuff that we've seen? Is there, or is that too much to ask from this check?
No, that's totally fine. I mean, the information you get from that check checks out with what you studied on your own. So if you look at your myling entry about they can manifest as a bird with the head of a human, sometimes they appear as a child. All that information does seem to check out and match up with the journal, but you don't get anything else extra.
Yeah.
Excellent. So that's a lot of information to mull over. And while you guys let that information marinate.
Wait, there was a thing, Chase.
There's a thing?
There was a thing. You skipped my thing.
What's your thing?
All I wanted to know, we don't have to play it as a whole scene, but I just wanted to know if there's any kind of pattern, who these people are that went missing.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, for sure. Why don't you go ahead and now, how are you trying to gather that? Are you asking around?
Well, I'll go to the kitchen tent because nobody got me food. So I'm going to go eat and also talk to people.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, so the same 3 people, they're still tending the tent, the very short woman and her 2 tall pre-adolescent children. She welcomes you and walk in. You must be one of the other investigators, researchers?
Yes, I'm the one who does all the work.
Well, let me serve you up a plate.
Thank you.
How are things going?
Oh, it's hard to say. This is the stage at which we gather all the pieces and then they start coming together. It's like a puzzle. All you have to do is find the corners and start building the outline, and after a while it comes together and you can tell what you're looking at.
That sounds very satisfying, exciting.
It can be both, and I'm hoping for such results in this case as well.
I wish you luck.
Thank you. I hope I'm not bothering you, but I was hoping you might tell me a little bit about the society members who have gone missing during these, might I add, horrific fog attacks. That was quite chilling.
Yes, indeed, it is quite upsetting. I'm not, despite them grabbing food, I am shameful to say I'm not terribly acquainted with all of the workers here. They come and go. Turnover is big in this moor. It is a bit of a difficult job, but if I can recall their names, I believe we have so far lost Scuti, Thorfinn, Orm, Bard, and Torsten.
And as far as you know, which sounds like isn't all that much, which is all right. Do you know if there was anything they might have had in common, or well, just anything remarkable you can remember about any of them?
You know, we always get a lot of strong folk working this job. All of them were men, though we don't get many women that work here. A couple. That's really all I have. I'm sorry. I don't see. It seems to be rather random from my perspective.
Well, even that shred of information can still be helpful.
They did all murder their children earlier in life. Is that relevant, possibly? They always bragged about how much they loved the murdering of their own children. And,
yes,
and
that
they
does
do it
seem
again
like
if
it could
no
be
spirit
relevant.
stopped them.
Okay. That's all I'd like to do. But when it kind of becomes clear that she doesn't know all that much for this line of questioning, then Constance just wants to do what she can to make this woman like her and just get someone at least who has a positive opinion of them at this camp.
Fantastic. Yeah, she is very friendly. She gives you a nice hearty meal. Not the most delicious thing, but it is filling. And with that, well, you guys mull over your information. Feels like a good time for a break. So we're just going to take a quick 10-minute break. We'll be back around 9:32 Mountain Time. So stick around and we'll see you guys in just a few. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking around as we took a quick recuperate. And we are now at the tail end of our investigators' research at the camp. Johan has finished his reading. Everybody else has finished poking around for the time being. Johan just got a wealth of information. So let's go ahead and let's go back to you guys. What are you doing?
Powwowing in the tent, I imagine. Swapping info.
Yeah.
I think it's similar to what we did in person, which is, I reckon, looking at all the info we've got, I think we can kind of direct where we think this mystery is going. When I mentioned, I went over what I thought. Was that on air, or was that after we broke?
That was after we went to break.
That was during break. Yeah, we could just kind of do that
Let's
again.
do a
Bill.
recap of our cap, which was
Give some theories out
we've
there.
got. I reckon it's pretty heavy on Mylins, right? We've seen baby bones. We've seen methods of attack and miss and stuff that don't match to the devil worship stuff. We've had multiple accounts of weird stuff happening at the graveyard. We think there's a ghost of a lady at the graveyard. And I think we're all pretty agreed on the idea that this woman that gets mentioned a few times by Sanderman, he was in a relationship with, she is either going to be like the ghost at that cemetery, or she's still alive somewhere. Like Crowmutter, the barmaid, said there was a relative who was still alive.
Does the timing line up, Chase? How old is if Sanderman were alive today, how old would he be?
Yeah, what kind of age are we looking at?
So you guys don't have a solid age on Sandeman. You guys haven't really gathered that yet.
But is it like, is it viable that a person
that's more the question.
If she was younger than him, would still be alive today?
Okay, so I guess you could probably gather this, Johan, from the notes that you've gathered.
I'm sure I had his journal. Surely he's dated his entry.
Yeah, so
even if I don't know his age, I know roughly when he was.
The last entry in his journal was about 40 years ago.
Yeah. He could have been writing about a 20-year-old because he's a creep. And so she could be 60 now. So I think it's viable that she might still be alive. Maybe it's their child. Maybe he had a child out of wedlock. And as I think, Tori, you were saying, like, he's super religious. So if he had a child out of wedlock, there could have been a whole thing. Mm-hmm. So I think we're leaning towards that element of this investigation, which means to me, I think we either need to find her by following up on Crowmutter's lead of there's someone, or we head straight to the cemetery and we find this ghost / this woman.
So if it's not, what time of day is it? It's like late afternoon, early evening?
Yeah, it's like approaching mid-afternoon.
And did the kid say that he noticed this at any particular time of day, or just like always? Like,
He did not say, I don't think, Chase, did he?
He just mentioned he would notice when he went to go get groceries.
Yeah.
And I imagine he did grocery runs through the day, not during
Yeah.
the night.
Yeah, that
Right.
seems reasonable. Okay. What's closer? What's
So,
on
I
our
mean-
Got a
right?
map here, don't we?
You guys,
Yeah.
you guys can see on your map. Actually, the only safe road up to Grymsted Hughes passes by the
Passes-
cemetery.
Perfect. Let's just
Okay.
go to the cemetery then. And then go to the town if we need to.
All right.
Yeah?
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
do
I
it.
think that's fine. Let's head to the
Okay.
cemetery.
Okay.
Fantastic.
On the road to the cemetery, I would like to interact with my memento.
Well, yeah. Tell me how
Don't
that's
mind.
going.
Yeah, so Constance is frightened still from the fog and everything that has happened. And now that they've kind of sussed out, maybe this is Myling's, this is just getting kind of upsetting and frightening. So she knows they're headed to a cemetery. So just kind of in her pocket, she pulls out a little folded handkerchief, and just quietly she'll just kind of hang out in the back or wherever, along their little trail, and she unfolds it, and inside is a dried red rose, and she just sort of looks at it and touches it lightly and is kind of whispering quietly to herself. You guys around probably have seen her do this, not frequently, but
Nobody, look, she's doing the rose thing again. Everybody, just do something else.
and she's just whispering, yes, I know you're there. I know you'll be with me. It's all right. It's all gonna be fine. It's all fine. Just like you told me. I don't know what I'm so worried about. It's all gonna be fine. As long as you're with me. It's all fine. It's all fine.
And you feel very at peace as that happens. And you can go ahead. You can clear any one condition of your choice.
Yay, I'm clearing frightened. I feel better.
I should probably do that as well.
I'm staying angry, baby.
Bill, is Johan bringing any of his book collection with him on this trip, or is everything that he was studying with staying in his tent?
That's an ominous question.
We should
Typical
talk
question.
about this. We should talk about this, Johan, because I feel like if Tori had the suspicion, it's reasonable that Constance would have the suspicion.
Yes.
Johan, it occurs to me that Mylings focus their attacks potentially not just on the parents, but on an object of hatred. And we aren't
Yes.
sure who this child is, but it seems possible at least that the object of hatred could be that journal from Sandeman. If we do, in fact, suspect that he might be involved somehow as the father, do we
Yes.
want to bring that with us?
Oh, yes, of course. Of course we bring the book. The alternative is we leave the book here, and then what? We see an attack, and we think, well, now we still do not know. Is it the camp? Is it the book? Is it the camp? Is it the book? We take the book with us. If we get attacked, we know it's the book.
I see. Hands-on research. Yes. All right. As much as I hate the idea, I do think you're right.
This is A-B testing. There
You're
are-
right. You're correct.
The B stands for book, and the A stands for Robert,
Action.
Finish my thought, Robert. What is happening at the camp?
I-
That starts with A.
I hate to say it, but I think that Constance was correct. Action.
Action.
Indeed.
She
Yeah.
she shines like a star. She's so
This is-
happy.
This is action book testing. So we take the book
Yes.
with us. If we are attacked, then we know it is the book.
Right. All right. Do you wish to hold on to it then?
I will
Or-
keep the book. Don't worry. The book will stay in my bag. I will wear it on my shoulders.
All right.
No, I will not. This is a foolish thought. I will put it on my horse. Come here, horse.
But what if the horse runs away?
The horse
That's-
will not run away. To say, well, I paid
Why
a lot
don't
of money.
I
for
hold
this
on to
horse."
the book?
If you want to hold on to
Trina-
the book, you can.
I mean absolutely no offense by this, but you did faint the last time there was an attack.
I will consider my actions and be better prepared next time. And she's gonna crack her book
Oh.
and
don't
just
you go
read
ahead
about Magda and how Magda was so brave and she relied on her friend Gillian. Listen,
this is all a waste of time.
I'm literally pulling names out of this book.
I love it. Yeah,
With
go
all
ahead and
this,
clear
we're
a
wasting
condition.
time talking about the
Great.
book is here. If the book is, just put the book in the bag and we will go. I have angry written on my sheet and I'm still angry.
It's in
Put the book on
okay,
your
I
horse
got
and
it.
we'll
I
go.
got it. Johan, it's gonna be okay. We've got this.
Yes.
Fantastic. All right. So you guys are heading along the road up to Grymsted Hughes. And you are passing by the cemetery on the way. So obviously the cemetery is past a little wooden archway. There's not even a functional gate up towards it. Roughly 5 kilometers west of the Moorland Society's camp is the ancient and remarkable graveyard. It is surrounded by a mossy stone wall and hosts about 100 tombstones, as well as the occasional wooden cross wrapped in the chilly autumn mist. Almost all of the graves that you guys can see as you're walking by are unmarked. One exception is there is a large, somber standing stone engraved with a simple epitaph. It reads, "Here lie our dead from the terrible pestilence that swept the land in the year of our Lord, 1710, during the Great War with Sweden." Many of the tombstones are crumbling with age, and it looks not only desolate and abandoned, but forsaken and deliberately forgotten. What are you guys doing as you guys are walking past? Are you guys going to check it out, or are you guys just going to continue on your travels to Grymsted?
We wanted to check it out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we 100% want to check it out. We're
Mhm.
ghost hunting here. I get out my
Excellent.
Hector.
Yeah, I like it. Okay. So, yeah, you guys head up towards this graveyard. As you guys get off the main path, it's kind of squishy and muddy, as is most things around this area. It's just a pretty unpleasant, chilly, stinky place for the most part. Now, as you guys are walking up towards this graveyard, Johan, you suddenly
Yeah.
just become filled with terror. And you freeze in place, and all of you just see Johan go wide-eyed and stop and stand and stare at nothing.
My lord.
Johan, you are just assaulted with a variety of these powerful images. At first, it looks like you're a spectator somewhere else. You see a huge man in a wide-brimmed priest's hat pushing away a younger peasant woman who you actually recognize from your studies and that photograph. This is Signa Andersdottir. And you see this man pushing her away just very aggressively, very abusively. And he's screaming, "It is not my child. You are unclean." And Signa just falls to the ground and starts crying. Next, your vision swims and everything seems to start to spin. And then you see it just with kind of a blurred background, nowhere in particular. You see Signa Andersdottir smiling and kissing this newborn child that she's holding on the forehead. And the baby is reaching up and touching her face and cooing with cute little baby noises. And then your vision swims again. And this time, it transitions into this inhospitable wetland of sprawling reeds and swirling wisps of mist. You actually recognize this as a bog that you walked by on the way towards the Moorland Society's camp. And then you can see that in that bog, you see Signa Andersdottir is there crying and holding this baby. And your vision almost seems to zoom in on the baby until it looks like you are looking from its perspective. And you're looking up at Signa, and she is crying, and you feel this cold chill of water surrounding you. And then you gasp back to reality. And I need you to make me a frightened check, Johan. You're surrounded by your friends. There's 3 of them around you. And this is going to be a frightened 2 check. So I need 2 successes on this
Oh
one.
my gosh.
Okay, so I'm rolling just my logic. I'm trying to piece together. I know why this happened. I know it's a haunting. I know I have the book that ties me to the ghost, that ties me to the visions. I understand it didn't happen to Johan. I'm trying to use logic here. Of course, I'm angry. Why did she
We
kill
have
me?
we have so many blessed dice, though. Don't forget, Bill.
You do have blessed dice, and you also get 1 dice for each of your friends with you.
Yeah,
Right.
so I'm currently therefore at a 2 bonus dice.
We
3
also
minus
have
the 1.
5 cursed dice, if that sounds fun to you.
Yeah.
And I'll roll 5 cursed dice.
5
Snap.
cursed dice. Here
I'll
we
roll
go.
7 extra dice. Give me a curse.
Oh, there
two
is
successes.
2 successes. The 2 cursed
Great.
successes. All right. So all of you are pretty focused on Johan, who just
It's
seems
easy
to
when people give
space
you
out
dice.
for like a good 30 seconds. I mean, what are you guys doing as he's spacing out for 30 seconds?
Robert, would you like to go first?
I mean, Robert initially will call out and, like, not receiving a response. He's going to, like, grab him by the shoulders and start shaking him and just kind of trying to make sure, just saying, sir, are you okay? What's going on? What?
And Johan, you snap to with Robert shaking you, but your attention doesn't immediately connect with Robert shaking you. You focus right past his shoulder, off in the distance, looming on a tombstone, is this very large raven that just looks like it's staring at you. It feels sinister to you. It feels dangerous, and it is just locked in on your eyes.
All right, I look at the raven. It's the Hey everyone, the raven is like an expression of the Myling's anger. But now I'm not angry at the raven, it's just angry at me. Okay, what do you do to placate a raven to show you to...
Perhaps it's not angry with you. Perhaps it's just sharing its anger with you.
And as you
Maybe
say
it
that, there is
knows.
this loud caw from the raven as it flaps its wings agitatedly. All of you can see this now. You see this raven, and it goes flying straight towards Johan, and its caw turns into this wailing shriek, and its face turns into this horrible, shriveled, childlike human face. And as it flies over you, it spews this just smelly bog water in a stream at Johan.
Ooh.
And Johan, we're not going to roll initiative for this, but you technically would have a fast action. So if you would like, you can roll an agility to try to dodge out of the way of some of this water.
No, I don't think I should.
Okay.
Would I have
Here we
seen it
go.
in time to be able to, like, shove Johan at all?
You'll have to.
Yeah, I'll let you roll an agility if you want,
Oh,
Robert,
sick.
to try to
Okay.
take him out of the way.
Great, let's go.
Tell you what. Yeah.
Oh, I failed. I'm
Now-
pushing.
You're
Oh.
not getting him out of the way in time, but if you would like, I'll let you take this instead of.
Oh yeah,
Instead of Johan.
absolutely. This is my lord. So I'm
Okay.
definitely pushing out and taking it.
Okay, let's see here. Trying to see how to roll this. I have to roll this blindly, so you guys just gonna have to take my word for it, just so I don't
Okay.
spoil anything. But I'm gonna tell you how many dice this is. It's one of the
Alright.
rare occasions when I have to roll.
Ooh.
Here we go. All right. Lucky for you, Robert, you get mostly out of the way, but it kind of catches you as you push him out of the way. You are going to take one physical condition.
Okay.
This water is freezing. Any part of you that it touches, you feel like it's instantly frostbiting, and it's just so cold it burns.
Ooh. Yeah. I imagine, like, as I'm shoving out of the way, I kind of trip over and that water splashes onto my calf. And immediately I'm taking the wounded physical condition as I struggle to even move on that leg now.
Awesome. And that bird is immediately just flying off in a different direction. Are any of the rest of you, I guess Katrina or Constance, are you doing anything here? I'll give you guys like one chance to act.
Actually, could I have... I think when after Johan didn't like immediately snap to and Robert was like shaking him, I think Constance was just trying to look around and like take in like anything that might be happening. So I would like to try and remember and sort of like track the raven's path and like find where it flew from, and and like maybe guess where it might be going. Just like that's what I want to know, like where it was sitting and then where it might be headed off to.
Okay, I think I could see arguments for vigilance or observation there, so I'll let you choose which one.
I will do. It's the same dice either way, so I will do observation. No, I'll do vigilance.
Okay, I like
we
it.
do have some bonus dice. I'm going to take 2 bonus dice, if that's okay.
Yep.
Here we go. Darn it. Oh, man. Oh, and I had binoculars, too.
Oh, snap.
Use vigilance from a distance. That's okay. Gosh, do I want to push it? I do want to push it. I'm going to push it.
Push it real good.
Yeah. Can I use my binoculars, Chase, for this?
Yeah, I would allow that.
Okay.
You're trying to see where it's going, so that seems to make sense.
Yes. So I'm
out your bird watching binoculars.
Yes, exactly. I'm re-rolling just because I didn't add in binoculars the first time, but I will take a condition.
Ooh.
Two successes. Okay.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, with those 2 successes, you remember the tombstone that it was perched up on. It was kind of in the southeastern portion of the graveyard. And it looks like it's flying directly towards the Moreland Society camp.
Okay.
Katrina. Now, this bird spewed out this trail of bog water, and none of it got on you, but just at your boots, you can see some of the remnants of it, and it is just this filthy, thick, viscous sludge with writhing maggots and this horrible stench. And I'm going to exploit your dark secret, and I'm going to make you make a fear check against this.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because this is almost unbearable for you to witness.
And I have to use logic or empathy for my fear checks.
Yeah, and you've got your friends near you, so you'll get 3 extra dice.
What's Katrina's dark weakness, dark secret?
She cannot cope with filth and disorder. Yeah.
I think it's cool in this game how you get extra dice on fear if you have friends with you, because that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Things are so much scarier when you're alone.
Absolutely.
How many dice do we have right now?
You've got 7 blessed and 0 cursed.
I think 5 because I used 2.
You just used some.
Johan just created a lot of chaos with his cursed. Yeah,
do it.
Okay, I'm not very good at fear tests, so any help I can get is good. Boom, 1.
Excellent. Okay, you keep it together this time, but it was hard for you to witness.
Okay.
All right. Back to all of you. The bird has now flown out of sight. What are you guys doing?
Wait, what was that? What? Johan, are you all right? What happened? What did you see?
I'm fine, Robert. Are you okay?
Yeah. It stings, but it's fine.
Take this cloak off, please. Get someone. You, Constance, bring something to clean him up.
Johan, calm yourself.
Yes, what? Look,
allow me to inspect him, please.
Yes, okay, she's the doctor. Please. I don't know what you're yelling at me for.
Robert, sit, and I'm gonna help you do a rock or something. All right, look at this. Looks as if you have some frostbite here, but it won't be lasting damage. Perhaps you should ride on the horse for the rest of the way.
Yes, get on the horse.
All right.
That's why we brought the horse. Please,
right,
Robert, get on the horse.
There's no need to keep yelling at everyone, Johan. You're the one that brought the stupid journal into this graveyard. Constance also marked angry.
Yeah!
And if you hadn't just gone marching in here, totally unprepared, then that wouldn't have happened.
And here you are, Robert. I'm going to boost you in 3, 2, 1.
Just yelling in the
completely calm.
What did you see? What happened? Please
I
tell
saw
me
a
this was
vision.
at least useful.
It was incredibly useful. I know exactly what's happened here. Okay? So don't you get mad at me. I should be mad at you. You can't even track a bird as it flies away.
What are you talking about? I know exactly where it's headed. It's headed straight for
where's
the
it?
Moreland Society camp, obviously. If you
think
hadn't been
it's headed there?
zoning
I
off
think-
into oblivion, then you would have spotted that.
Well, it doesn't even
Constance, this is not useful. Why don't we hear what Johan has to say?
All right, then spit it
listen
out.
to me. Okay. The child, the ghost, it is a myling. The child belonged to Signa. We all know Signa. Are we all keeping up? Signa, she was in...
Yes,
she
Johan, we are not stupid. I know
Look,
you think most
Sanderman-
people are, but we are not.
Sanderman, he loved Signa, but not really because he's an idiot. And so she got pregnant and he didn't accept the baby because, again, he's an idiot and a hypocrite and a fool who doesn't even know how to source his material properly and is terrible at writing a bibliography. But he abandoned Signa and with no other options left to her, she drowned her daughter. Remember the bog we passed on the way to the Moreland Society, this Grymsted bog? She
Yes.
drowned her daughter in the bog. I felt it. I was the daughter, and I felt it. The betrayal. The one person in the world who loved me killed me. The one person in my life who was meant to treat me like someone they love betrayed me. So we have to go save this little. I mean,
All
we
right.
can't. The girl is beyond saving, but we have to.
Yes, well, we have to figure out if
Rectified.
Signet is still alive, because then she has to come apologize, and if not, then we have to burn this journal or something.
Constance,
Oh, the journal we shall destroy.
Yes.
It's,
why don't you go look in the graveyard to see if that gravestone is Signa's grave?
You want me to just...
They're
I
not
will
marked.
join you in just a moment.
Okay.
I'm not a child, I can tell when I'm being sent off and uninvited from a conversation. She'll turn on her heel and start stalking off into the graveyard.
Katrina will turn to Johan. Sometimes it is easy to forget that she is quite young herself, and it is our responsibility as the elders to show her a better way. I am sorry, old friend, that you had to witness such a thing.
Thank you, Katrina. I sometimes forget. She is. I mean, all of you are. I mean, not you, Katrina, but they are young. Robert is a fool, pushing an old man out of the way and risking his own life. Constance.
You are
she is her
well
own
cared
friend.
for.
Yes.
Now let me go make sure that Constance does not kill herself in the graveyard, and we will be
Yes.
back momentarily.
Okay.
Be sure to express your thanks to Robert.
He knows I'm thankful. Robert knows these things.
Okay. And I'm going to turn and follow Constance into the graveyard.
I
And
love
kill
that
her.
whole interaction. That was so good. Okay, Constance, you're approaching the graveyard, yeah?
Oh no, there's still an adversary.
Yeah.
I forgot about the adversary.
Yeah.
You're gonna be an evil grave digger.
just to be clear, Constance stalked off, but she wouldn't have left their sight. Like, she
Yeah.
knows that this is dangerous. So she'll, leave earshot, but, she's kind of waiting around for Katrina because she's not about to go wandering off by herself.
Excellent. Why don't you roll me an investigation, Constance?
All right.
Katrina, are you helping? Are you helping poke around?
I am.
Would you like to do your own investigation, or would you like to?
I would like
just-
to aid.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. What's your investigation bonus?
2.
Okay, why don't you add 1 extra dice to your roll, Constance?
Okay. Is it dark? Should I use a
It's not dark.
hurricane lamp? Okay.
It's not dark quite
Yeah, the
yet.
hurricane
It's
lamp.
like a little, like a hurricane lamp might help because it's always kind of dreary and overcast here.
I'm trying to decide if I should use my magnifying glass or a hurricane lamp. Either way, it's fine. I'll just use my magnifying glass.
Magnifying glass would suffice here.
Investigation. I ignore angry because I'm focused. Katrina's giving me a bonus dice, and I am using my magnifying glass.
I can also hold the lamp for you while you hold the other thing.
I would give you an extra
Magnifying
dice for
glass.
that.
Ooh.
All right.
Exploits.
All right.
Nice.
A little bit of light never hurt anything.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Here we go. Here's the roll. I got 1 success out of 11. All right,
Excellent.
cool.
I love it. Okay, so you check out the tombstone that bird was perched up on, and looking around the graveyard, most of this graveyard is pretty unvisited. You don't see any traces of foot traffic. Things look pretty dusted over and dirty. But this little section of the graveyard, specifically 3 gravestones right here, are more frequently visited. They're all unmarked, as are most of the gravestones here. But these ones have clearly been visited. And one of them, the one that this bird was perched on, has a pile of wilted roses that were left there some time ago. They're not completely blown away and decayed, so it was semi-recent. The one in the center has a whole bunch of different wild flowers strewn about it. And then the one on the right has very bright autumn-colored peonies and these powder blue forget-me-nots. And then also something that you notice, Constance, is on the wall behind all these gravestones. It's not directly behind them, but you notice on one of the pillars of this stone wall surrounding the graveyard, you see that same symbol of the scorpion tail going into the skull mouth that you saw on the tattoo of your recent lover from the steamboat.
Don't like that.
On the wall of this graveyard?
It's like on one of the columns of the stone wall.
Is it
surrounding
like,
the graveyard.
does it look graffitied or like carved into
Looks
the stone?
carved pretty professionally, so like it's as clean as the tattoo was.
It's separate from like the grave situation here.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
kind of just, you just catch it as you're looking around at the gravestones.
Okay. Constance will observe the graves with some reverence and softly touch the dried roses on the laid on the ground. And then as Katrina walks up, she'll sort of collect herself. You can see that these 3 graves have been more frequently visited and maintained. And she becomes like very clinical and is just like pointing out, like, you can see this and this detail, and here you can see the footpath and blah, 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 and just explaining her findings. And then she'll sort of, just one moment, and she'll step over toward the symbol that's carved into the stone and just try and just kind of look at that. Katrina, have you ever seen this sort of symbol before? Does this look familiar to you?
Can I roll something to see if I do?
You don't recognize it.
Okay. I don't believe I've seen that before in my life.
Would you believe me if I told you this was the second time I've seen this symbol on this case alone?
You're not one to lie, so I suppose I would.
I'm not quite sure what it means or what the connection is. It seems entirely unrelated. The first time I saw it was on the back of a gentleman on the train. On his skin, to be clear.
I picked that up. Perhaps you should ask Johan to research this.
Maybe I can as soon as he pulls his head out of his arse.
You must understand, he has been through something. We've all seen things, and we know how we can react when that happens. A little mercy can go a long way.
I suppose that's true. I just didn't think it right of him to fly off the handle like that at all of us, and it was frightening for everyone, and...
It was.
Anyway, this whole case is terribly grisly, and I don't like it one bit.
Nor I.
All right. Let's go back, and I'll explain what I found, and I don't know if I can bring myself to apologize to Johan, but I will be civil. How's that?
It is a start. And she puts a comforting hand on your shoulder.
She'll like, return your hand squeeze. All right, let's get out of here. This place is wretched.
And then we get the hell out of there, Chase.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll tell you guys what I found at the these 3 graves, etc., etc. I'm gonna kind of leave the symbol out of it for the moment because it doesn't seem
Relevant to the
related.
case.
Yeah. She'll like ask Johan about that later.
I like it. Okay, so you guys are continuing. Are you guys heading back to the camp, or are you guys continuing up to Grymsted Hughes?
Let's figure out what we need to do. Well, we need to figure out if Signa is still alive, right?
Yeah.
Do
Do we have time to make it there and back? Because they said we should not be out in the moor at dark.
We do have a lamp.
You guys feel like you'll be cutting it fairly close, but you probably have time to get to Grymsted Hughes, take a quick poke around, and then get back before dark. Though if you take any significant amount of time in Grymsted Hughes, you might not make it back before dark.
For all we know, we might be able to find lodging in Grymsted Hughes. Just a thought. Not a plan, but it's possible.
Right.
The other question I have is, we know that Signa's daughter was killed in the Grymsted Bog. I'm assuming that's the one that you were referencing that we passed on our way to the Moreland Society?
Yep, on the map down here, that is where you saw her get killed.
Is there, based on how their camp is and where they've moved, like, does that mean that the bones that they dredged up are not her bones, or would be her bones?
Hard to tell.
Have they dredged water from that bog?
They've dredged water from kind of all over the place, and over the last year or so, they've kind of terraformed the entire area. So It's hard to tell where they would dredge stuff up from it without doing like investigation in the bogs and the outlet pipes.
Yeah, it's more just whether it's a possibility rather than knowing.
It could be in the realm of reason, though it is a good ways off of the camp.
Yeah, because that's my worry. Like, maybe these are just other child bones to represent a standing tradition of the area, as opposed to the specific bones of the child we're looking for. We don't want to milk up these bones if they're the wrong bones to milk.
Yeah.
So we might need to go to the bog as well to search. And if it, like, I had a vision of the exact place that it happened, I might be able to recreate that and re-find it. Looking around and walking and standing in the bog and staring up at trees.
That makes sense to me.
So maybe that's a plan as well.
Yeah.
And I think as well, we should absolutely destroy the book just in case, because like she could be married. Like, we might get an apology from the mother and also need some kind of vengeance or like some kind of destruction on the father. Like,
for all we know, for all we know, Johan, this could all be the fault of Sandman. Perhaps he forced her to do it. Perhaps the Myling isn't angry with the mother at all, but upset with the one who forced her hand.
Oh, there is no way Sandman is off the hook for any of this. His book is a representation of his spirit, should burn in the eyes of this child as penance for his crimes. But the mother is not blameless. We must find her as well.
All right. So next stop, town. Or
next stop, town.
What constitutes a town in this part of the world?
Next stop, Hus.
All right. So you guys continue on up to Grymsted Hughes. And as you approach, Grymsted Hughes is a small settlement consisting of roughly a dozen stone houses with heather roofs clustered around an old shepherd's trail. Most of them are residential buildings, interspersed with various types of outhouses, storage sheds, and fenced-in stables. Most of the people that you see mulling about the settlement are shepherds and peat diggers, stern, unsmiling types who live hard and simple lives with the windswept moor, and both their livelihood and their curse. Sheep and occasional scrawny cows are roaming freely among the buildings. There are elderly people sitting against the house walls, whittling wood or making baskets out of heather. A couple of grown men are sharpening their scythes next to a shed.
Please don't turn me into a basket! No!
And a sturdy peasant woman with bulging forearms is shoveling dung outside one of the stables. A bunch of dirty children come running towards all of you as you approach the settlement, just laughing, and they kind of run circles around all of you. And one of them like pokes Johan with a stick and then they go running away, giggling back towards the town.
Robert, kill that child.
Very well, my lord.
Well, Robert, it seemed like you had better luck speaking with a friend from the town than I did. So perhaps we seek out your acquaintance first.
August was the name.
Yes, August.
Yeah, and as you mention his name, you actually see August crossing the street right now. He's got a little cart of something that he's hauling around, and you see him down the road. Up in the middle of the settlement.
August.
Oh, Robert it was, right?
Yes.
With the kind donation. Thank you.
Of course.
Good to see you.
It's good to see you too. My compatriots here, we have some questions we'd like to ask you, if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, sure. Why don't you come take a sit on my porch here? I'm afraid my house isn't in order to host at the moment, but I've got a nice standing area to break from the wind.
I appreciate it. And Robert will limp over and kind of gesture towards everyone else to come.
Excellent. Constance, why don't you make me a vigilance?
Ooh. Okay. Vigilance. Oh, I'm still angry.
Sure, you have a high
Darn
vigilance.
it. Let's see. I have a pretty good vigilance. I'm gonna take a blessed dice just to cancel out my penalty.
Yeah, get after it.
I like it.
Oh, it was a failure.
Would you like to push it?
I have a condition already. I'm nervous. Sure. I'll push it.
All right. What you pushing it with?
Do I have to? Is this gonna be a mental condition? Yeah.
Yeah.
If
See
I
how it
push
goes,
okay.
and then we'll decide.
Okay. Come on. Okay, I got a success.
You got it. All right. As you're walking up the road to go sit on August's porch, you see 3 figures leering at you from behind a window in one of the homes. You recognize 2 of them. You see Einar. You see Hans. And you also see a very large, strong-looking woman that looks like this. Maybe.
Maybe. She looks like a map of Grymsted Lyng.
Yeah. There we go. She looks like that.
Oh my.
And they are just glowering at you.
What, are they inside of another building?
They're inside of the building looking at you through a window. And as they notice you, catch their glance, the woman makes a motion with her finger, cutting across her throat.
On second thought, perhaps it would be best to hustle this along as quickly as possible. I don't think we should stay here tonight.
Yeah, sorry. To clarify, quick, are they in August's house?
No, a different home as
cool.
you guys are walking up to his porch. So like across the street.
Yeah, so it's just mean townsfolk, not he's going to jump us.
Mm-hmm.
I am frightened.
Constance, what's wrong?
Nothing. It's fine. And she'll make like she's just sort of kind of turning and chatting, but she'll sort of subtly kind of like gesture. Oh, it's just the wind and the sights around here. The scenery is just very bleak, and she keeps like, Hesh.
Chase, can I make I adjust my hair to the side, like tuck it behind my ear, but I actually glance the way she's gesturing?
Yeah, you can spot them. She kind of made a bit of a scene of it. But as you look that way, they all kind of smile brightly.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with these people at all, Constance. They are lovely people. Well, hello there.
Yes, I just she'll kind of go up against Katrina's arm and just sort of like conspiratorially. Yes, I don't think we have very many friends here in this town. And to be frank,
You've got a friend with me?
What are you doing here, August?
what can you tell us about the wonderful family just across the way there?
Lovely family. That's the Jensens. I don't know if you could consider them lovely people.
I see.
Their father was a good man. That's the only reason anybody tolerates them around here.
And what was his name? I'm acquainted with the two brothers. I presume.
So none of you are around from here, huh? Well, his name was Eric Jensen. He was a war hero.
Ah, I see. Did they when did he pass away? Is that recent?
Quite some time ago, maybe a good 10, 15 years ago. Jensen brothers were just young boys at the time.
I see. Well, I'll leave you to it, and she'll sort of step aside, like letting Robert kind of go talk to him, and she'll try and pull Katrina aside just like a half step.
Yeah, she will.
If things go quite south, I do have their father's knife. Perhaps that could be used as some sort of bargaining chip. They might want it back.
I don't bargain with terrorists, but yes.
Yes, I mean, to be
If
clear.
you'd like, I can return the knife to them.
Oh, no, I'm talking
Chase,
to
we step
Katrina.
away.
Oh, okay.
I don't want August to know this. Yeah.
Okay,
August
you got it.
follows you.
August can fuck right off.
So,
This is
Robert,
girl
August
talk.
is good. Yeah.
Yes.
Robert, what can I
Right.
answer for you?
Do you know Signa Anders' daughter?
Signa Anders' daughter. Oh, why does that name sound so familiar?
We have a photo. Show him. You can show him the photo.
Oh.
The daguerreotype.
Ah, that would help.
Typed her.
You showed him the photo.
Yes. Yes.
I have seen that same photo with Granny Thea. I believe Signa was her granddaughter. Passed some time ago. Some sort of tragic accident. I don't recall the details.
Granny Thea.
Granny Thea's cottage, she lives just off the distance there. And he'll gesture kind of to the northern end of the town. There's a little isolated home kind of off the path.
Great. Thank you. Sir Bostrom, do you have anything else you want to ask him? I feel like we should move quickly.
Yes. Do you know if anyone lives in this house now? Or is it abandoned and old?
Oh, Granny Thea still lives there.
She's so old! How old is
she-
this woman?
Very old, to the point where she doesn't quite have her mind about her, but she's a lovely woman.
She must be 120 years old.
I don't know the
Well, we
exact age, but
Well,
quite
it
old.
seems like time is not on our side. Perhaps we should get over there and talk to her before she
Yes,
just...
she might die on the way. she could drop at any second. We have to go. Say goodbye to your friend, Robert. We must go and investigate this old woman and interrogate her about her murderous daughters. I mean, granddaughters.
Right.
I mean, people.
Thank you, August. Much appreciated.
Oh, and August, if the Jensens, being the wonderful family they are, happen to ask where we went, or perhaps just I went, I would so much appreciate if you would tell them anywhere but where we actually went.
Yes, I won't say a thing, or I'll mislead them.
Excellent.
To be quite honest, despite their father, I don't care for them very much, so I could do that for you.
Very much appreciated.
Yes. Anything for a lovely woman such as yourself. And he does kind of a very deep bow.
August.
Hmm.
About them. Do either of them hate this marsh business going on?
Oh, they told me as much at the tavern last night. They
my
went on and on
apologies.
about it.
That's
They
how
were
they
quite
introduce
clear.
themselves.
Right.
We are Hans and Nina. We hate the Moreland Society. How are
It
you?
was essentially the conversation, yes.
Well,
right.
to be fair, none of us here much care for the Moreland Society. No
Can you
offense.
tell me why? I would think that you would want your land reformed and be usable.
Their machinery is disgusting. It's ruining the natural order and traditions of this area. What they think is filthy, we find beauty in. The more is smelly, sure, but it's the way it's been for generations here. We see no need to disrupt it. Plus, strange things have started happening since they've showed up.
Give us a list.
The fogs have been unusual. People have
Fun.
talked about hearing strange sounds in the moor, strange lights. People have gone missing.
Yes.
Has anyone gone missing besides the people who are working at the Moorland Society?
No, but some of them who work for the Moorland Society came from our town.
And they've disappeared.
Yes.
Understood.
Not all of them, but I believe a couple. Bard was from there. From here, sorry.
Yes. Well, hopefully soon there will be no more disappearances and no more problems. We think we are onto
Right.
something, but we need to go and talk to an old woman.
Yes, let's
Yeah,
go.
of
Thank you
course.
so much, August.
It was a pleasure meeting you all.
Yes, you as well.
Now, just for science, August, could you mind this book for me?
I suppose, is there a
no,
reason?
That I
This-
don't think that's not. We don't need to investigate
Okay,
that
I
at
have
this
a
time.
separate.
I think
I do have a separate plan for this book. Constance, could you take
What?
this book and could you slide it under the the side of the entryway to the Jensen's house? Just hidden out of sight,
Oh,
so it
no.
is technically on their property. And if they get attacked, well, there will be no great loss to the world, and we will know a bit more about whether we should destroy the book.
what if we lose the book? What if they get it instead?
Ah, that is true.
Okay, Johan,
Perhaps-
why don't we just go talk to the old woman? Perhaps we can just wrap all this up and solve it before there's another attack at all.
Okay, we will talk to the woman.
Excellent. All right, you guys are heading down to the cabin.
Yes.
Let's see. Constance and Katrina, you guys can roll me vigilance checks as you guys approach the cabin.
Okay. Also, quick backtrack, Chase. How
Mhm.
old is August?
How old is August? He's pretty young. He's maybe in his late 20s.
How attractive is August?
He's a very handsome young man.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
And how many skull tattoos does August have?
7.
We don't know yet. Oh gosh,
Wait a minute.
I'm double.
He's the
This is
adversary.
vigilance, right?
Vigilance, yep.
Okay.
I failed. If you want to use some dice to help us
I'm
out.
gonna need to use the rest of the blessed dice, just the 2. Come on. I got 1
Oh,
success.
whoa.
Whew, okay.
All right. So as you are approaching this cabin, something that catches your attention since you were investigating the gravestones is you do see growing all around this house, there are bright autumn-colored peonies and powdered blue forget-me-nots.
That means we
you
can
did see
find
some
the
of
right
these-
grave.
We
Yeah,
did see
I'll
some, we
point
did see
those
some of
out
these on
to
the
the group.
gravestone.
Yeah.
Excellent. And you guys knocking on the door?
Yes, Johan, I think perhaps maybe myself or Katrina should take the lead on questioning. She sounds like she might be rather unfirm, and I don't know what one of your outbursts might do to her at this point.
Yes, I will sit on the other side of that rock over in the corner, so you shall see only the top of my head and nothing else.
Excellent. All right.
And I will wear my
Katrina?
hat, which looks most like moss.
Do you wish to take the lead here?
Yes, of course.
All right. So you guys knock on the door, and this lovely elderly woman that looks like this answers the door.
So lovely.
Oh, she's so cute.
Oh, good evening. Oh, is it an officer of the military? Are you here to help us fight back the Perusians, dear?
I am unfortunately here on other business.
Oh,
Ma'am?
that's yes. Anybody from the military has sanctuary in my home. Please come in.
I will thank her profusely and enter.
That is not a Prussian uniform, is it? She kind of gives you a distrustful look for a minute.
Of
and she
course
stops.
not.
Okay, very, very well. Yes, please come in. Oh, your friend as well. Please,
Come on
Oh
in.
yeah, I'll follow. Is Robert staying with Johan?
Yeah,
Or okay. Yeah, I'll follow. And
She's got a very comfy little home, just a table, some chairs, very nicely decorated with floral things. Smells nice like tea. Please come sit yourselves down. Let me brew you something up hot. Some sort of warm drink to warm your bones.
that would be a godsend at this point.
So, what reports from the front? What brings you here?
Well, there is much happening on the front, and I don't wish to bore you with it, ma'am. In fact, I'm hoping for just a little bit of chat to take my mind off of things.
I'm at your service, whatever you need. You give your service, I give mine the best I can.
Thank you. My name, by the way, is Officer Nordenflicht, and this is my dear friend, Constance.
You may call me Thea Anders' daughter. Nice to meet you.
Anders' daughter, that name is familiar. Why does that name sound so familiar to me, Constance?
Oh, we were just hearing tell of a lovely young woman. I believe her name was Signa, Anders' daughter?
Oh,
There's no
Signa.
relation there, is there?
Yes, there is. And she gestures to a similar photograph on her fireplace mantle. That is my late daughter. Passed some time ago, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. What happened?
You can see her lip kind of tremble as she looks up at the picture. Oh, it's a story that I don't want to trouble your hearts with, but she was killed due to a horrible devil of this place, and not the kind that science society speaks of. Horrible man.
Katrina will move her chair to sit next to this woman and place a hand over hers and feel terrible for what she's about to say.
She puts another hand on yours and gives it a very gentle but weak squeeze.
Sometimes I find it helpful to remember. It makes them feel not quite so gone.
Tears start streaming down her cheeks and she
Oh,
shakily
shit.
wipes them off her face. Yes, I can agree with that, dear. Unfortunately, she just got wrapped up with the wrong lover. Horrible man, Gabriel Sandeman. Curse his very existence.
And did he do something to her?
She stole her love, bore her a child, and then abandoned her. She was found out frozen dead in the moors after he left town. She was with child. They never found the poor child. Sometimes I think that it's still out there searching for my dear Signa.
That's hurtful indeed.
That's my old mind. I know that's of course not true, but sometimes I just feel that in my soul, you know?
I do know. Sometimes there are things that cannot be explained, but we know to be true.
There must be some sort of place you can go to remember her. Is there a gravesite or anything? Such shocking news. I would love to pay my respects.
I'm so sorry to trouble you with burdens. You come here for comfort, and I dump some of mine on you. If you wouldn't mind, I do daily visits to bring some flowers to her gravestone. You can take some of them from around my house. Pay your respects, and I'm oh so tired as of late. Perhaps bring some for me as well.
Consider it done.
Such decent young folk. Just warms my old heart. Thank you. Let me get you those warm beverages.
Does she step out of the room to go get tea?
Yeah, she does.
Okay. Well, I don't know what more to make of it except exactly what she said.
We should find out if her daughter had a name picked out.
Oh, excellent idea.
She'll come
You
back
seem
and she'll
to,
present the drinks.
Have this handled.
Please sit with us. I would love to hear
Yes.
more about your daughter.
Oh,
Happy
of course.
memories. What was she
Yeah.
like when she was in love?
And she'll share a whole bunch of nice memories with her. She shares memories of her other suitors that were
Mhm.
better than Sandeman, and every time Sandeman comes up, she gets a little teary-eyed again and just treats him like an absolute monster.
I do try and wrangle out of her what her daughter would have named a child.
She never came up with a name. She couldn't get herself to do it because she knew what Sandeman was going to think.
Did he threaten her or anything of the sort?
I don't believe so. Just rejected her. And you know how it is. Unwed mothers have such a poor reputation in our society. So he was threatening to expose her and leave, and just wanted to get himself wanted to clean his own slate. He wasn't worried about hers. Filthy man. But no name for the poor child.
Well, I'm sure with a mother as lovely as you, she would have honored you in some way.
Oh, thank you.
And then I lean and look out the window, but unfortunately it appears that time is not on our side, and we must get on our way if we are to stop by this graveyard.
You, being part of the military, I have been in quite desperate need of some assistance on things of physical labor. I don't imagine while she went and paid her respects if you could perhaps stay here and assist me, dear. I could pay you. I don't have much, but...
Your tea was enough payment. Allow me.
Thank you.
Constance, perhaps you can go take care of the flowers?
Right. Constance looks clearly worried, but is not going to mess up Katrina's plan. I'll be back before you know it.
Just remember to take patience with you, and maybe a couple of strong hands.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much. It has been a delight to be in your home. And you are the finest person I've met so far in this town. And I suspect the finest person I shall meet here. Thank you so very much.
Oh, you have both been so lovely. I hate to say it, but some of the youth of this town is just not as polite as they used to be. Those Jensen boys, despite their blessed father, just a couple of hooligans.
Yes, on that we agree. As she said, I should be going if I am to make it there soon. Thank you again.
Yes.
I shall take my leave.
Bless you.
Constance will step out the door.
Miss Officer, let's get to business, shall we? And Constance, as you exit the cabin to meet with Johan and Robert, we'll go ahead and we will wrap there for tonight. And we will continue with the conclusion of this mystery next time. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out with us tonight. Why don't we go ahead and go over our awesome players one more time, because they did freaking awesome. I thought this session was so great. Thank you, guys. Let's go ahead. We'll go reverse order of how we started. Matt, why don't you tell all of these wonderful people where you can be found on the internet?
Of course. My name is Matt. You can find me everywhere as Improv and D&D. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Tori, M, do you guys want to kind of do a duo talking about yourselves, Level 1 Geek?
I'm Tori.
And I'm M. We're from
You guys
Level
need to
1 Geek.
you guys need to work on like a Team Rocket style.
A Team
outro.
We'll come
I'm
up with
all for
something.
that. Yeah, we could definitely do that.
We'll work on it. But you can follow me on Twitter at ToriFika if you want to.
Terrifica and Anthroma Streams. What up?
Fantastic. Well played. Bill, what about yourself?
Hi, I'm Bill. Go check out Escape This Podcast. Go check out Solve This Murder. They're fun things to do. You can listen to those. And yeah, that was great. I had a lot of fun.
Very good. Good investigating, everybody. It was a good time. I'm Chase, Game Master for this campaign, also part of Level 1 Geek, as is Katie behind the scenes, who is managing your chat interactions. So big shout out to Katie for doing that. She lets us keep a good eye on you guys interacting with stuff and participating. You guys gave dice. You guys added an adversary. You're very close to adding an ally. So, that's going to be a fun
Could be
time.
cool. If you guys feel like it, just
I've
if
got
you're feeling it.
Ally, more adversaries.
I've got devious
against
plans
the
for the
world.
adversary, Bruin. So you,
Wait, the
Huh?
Isn't it the
adversary
lady?
wasn't the mom?
I thought it was the lady.
I
the
thought it was
angry-looking
too. Oh
woman.
no, we're so screwed.
Oh shoot!
No.
Okay.
oh, I've got more sinister plans than that.
Good. Oh, good.
Yeah, so thanks so much for tuning in and interacting, everybody. We appreciate all your support. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, if you guys missed part of this stream, you guys can catch it on Friday. We'll try our very best to have this up on YouTube. Our goal is to have these up the following Friday. You guys can catch up. You guys can tell your friends about it because we'd love your friends to come hang out. Don't forget to subscribe over there on YouTube when you check it out, because that would help us out feeding the algorithm. We may or may not be back next week. We do have some people going out of town, and so we're going to discuss how to handle it. The best way to keep in tune with what's going on is join our Discord. Production, if you could put a Discord link here. Keep an eye on that. We'll keep you guys in touch, but just see what's happening. Plan on tuning in. If we're not playing, we'll let you guys know. But yeah, we plan on playing this campaign for a good while more. So anything to add, Tori or M? Any other announcements we have? Hope everybody has a good Thanksgiving this week. For those of you who celebrate Thanksgiving, go do some Black Friday shopping maybe. Awesome. Okay, well, that's it for us tonight. So everybody go take a long rest. I said it last week, but it feels still important. Stay away from creepy moors and creepy graveyards that go hand in hand together, because that's just a good recipe for some Vaesen. So we'll catch you guys next week. Have a good night, everybody.
We'll do a Grymsted grimace on our way out.
Ah, yes.